Hello, everybody, and welcome to Low Ink July 2025. We are here with yet another Low Ink, everyone's favorite low-level monthly tournament. My name is Hammy in the Wall, and I am joined here with Jolteon Jack. How you doing, Jack?
I'm doing good today, my friend. I'm happy to be here. This is my first Low Ink, and I'm happy to be spending it with you, Ham. This is going to be a great set of matches, I can already tell. Our first set of the day is going to be Lemon Shark versus Spicy Fire Revived. And as always, the names on Splatoon teams are half of the fun in these tournaments.
Yeah, whether it's a team name, whether it's a pickup name, people always like to do something a little bit goofy compared to a lot of other esports. Honestly, Spicy Fire Revived just making me remember how hot it is. This summer has been very deadly so far. I'm Canadian. I'm not built for the heat. And hopefully they can spice up this match and take an upset because they are the much lower seed in this match. Lemon Shark being seed 23, Spicy Fire Revival being being seed 65. So that is definitely how pools goes. You're going to have those higher seed teams versus those lower seed teams in the first couple of rounds. But as we get further and further into day one, we're going to be seeing closer and closer matches. So this is looking like Lemon Shark's game to win, but Spicy Fire Revived is looking to start day one off with a banger.
A banger, I hope it'll be much like their names expects. I'm hoping these games will be spicy. I want some good action. This is a set where we'll be playing all three games. Our first game is going to be Splat Zones here on Mako Mart, a set that I always very much enjoy. I always enjoy when this is in rotation. It's a lot of fun. Ooh, very dynamic comp going in on this side of right here. Both teams using this stuff. We got a new Jet Squelcher on the side of Spicy Fire Revived, and I'm interested to see how that'll play as we head into this game one.
Yeah, and I will point out, I do believe the colors were swapped there for a second. Lemon Shark here in the orange now. We have Spicy Fire Revive on the side of the blue. Just double checking the names to make sure that's correct. But yes, already the zone being capped in the name of Lemon Shark there in the orange side. Already just pushing Spicy Fire Revive into their own base. Only 30 seconds in. Pretty good holdout to begin with.
I mean, yeah, we had a delayed wipeout in the first, 30 seconds in the game, leading to this very nice lead from Spicy Fire Revive. That Stamper goes down right there to some teamwork. Splash on catching one member of Lemon Shark right there as the strikes go out, trying to get control of that zone. They managed to hold Lemon Shark's progress, and they are going to take it, though it's down 2 right now. Now it's just the zap by themselves as that rain comes in. They got pressure by the range blaster. They probably need to get out of there right now. There is now a penalty on the side of Lemon Shark, so their push there did accomplish something, but probably not as much as they want. Spicy Fire Revive needs to live up to their namesake, revive fast, and get in there.
Yeah, getting that penalty does help Spicy Fire Revive. That is the first step to taking back the game, but that's only the first step. There's a couple extra steps in the process. Getting stamped down, Sushi is able to get a pick and help take back that zone in the name of Spicy Fire Revive. Now with their first cap and first holdout of this game, but with 2 players down, it's not looking pretty. They're going to need to try to get some players back, maybe get some more specials again. Sushi on the side is just trying to keep players away, but that big flank on the side from the Dreadringer from Lemon Shark is going to kind of push away Spicy Fire Revive and get back this map. But never mind, the flip, and now Jack, it's back in the name of Spicy Fire Revive.
That it is. Hey, Sushi was doing a good job right there, being like a good poker as Stampers are. Stamper's such a good, Stamp's a special, and also the alternate kit. We've seen a splashdown come right here from NR4, giving Spicy Fire Revive back control. Their penalty is coming down right here, almost halfway through this first match. It's very close so far. Lemon Shark's got a special ready to go out. Here it comes right now. Here comes the rain, and I think there were some missiles coming out right there. And there are, and NR4 unfortunately gets stuck right there in the ink trying to escape, and that is just unfortunate as Lemon Shark once again takes control here.
That looked like a misinput. They kind of stood still. It looked like they might have been trying to super jump out, but maybe didn't hit. They might hit the D-pad before hitting the X button, and unfortunately.
Hey, I do that all the time. I know that feeling.
Yeah,
it's the worst feeling in the world.
I am the worst super jumper out there. I hold the crown for that. Now, Lemon Shark still in control, counting down 25 ticks, and with 2 kills there, Spicy Fire Revived are running out of options. Make that 3. It's just the NSAP left alive. They do get a kill on the other half, but with 10 ticks left, they have to get to the zone, opting for a flank. their name was Pro Gamer, but they aren't able to pull out any Pro Gamer moves. Never mind. They stalled just long enough for the team to fly in, take that. I spoke too soon. Spicy Fire revived. Don't even need the revive because they're still in game 1.
Dang, that was insane right there, because Lemon Shark was holding on with that Dread Ringer. They were holding on to that Reef Slider just in case Spicy Fire Revive was able to do so, but whether it was misplacement of where the Reef was used, it was not able to cover as much ink as it needed to, allowing Spicy Fire Revive to get control of this. They only have 30 points left. Out comes another Reef Slider. That's going to catch Pro Gamer right here, swapping it back. The Stamper goes down. It's 2-2 on either side with some Rainstorm in the middle. Make that 2-1. Can they get this 2v1 right here? Yes, they can. That'll allow them to gain control of the area right here, making it so that Lemon Shark keeps this about 50-point penalty that they have. 1 minute left. Spicy Fire Revive's got to hold this for about 50 seconds. Unfortunately, they go 2 down right here. They can't afford to panic right here. We got Reef Slider going out, and that is a wipeout in the favor of Lemon Shark. They need to hold this and hold fast.
Lemon Shark do have a significant advantage in this game because with that 1 point, if Spicy Fire Revived are ever in control of the map, they just need to flip. They have a Reef Slider, which is a great tool to do that. They have the missiles as well. See that Reef Slider canceling the hammer, getting back that zone control. Only a couple ticks to Lemon Shark to straight up KO this game. It's just the wiper on the left side of Spicy Fire. They can't do it. The wipeout comes right at the end to get a little bit extra celebration. And as much as Spicy Fire Revived fought back, Lemon Shark are your winners for game 1.
I mean, hey, as somebody who plays a roller or similar weapons and such, seeing that Reef just go right through the through that Stamper kind of hurt my feelings. But you know, that's what makes it a great special, especially on map like Mako. Though it's always so good to see it in zones. Mako's a bit more awkward for it because of that little barrier that's in the middle, but you were able to see them use it to great effect right here. Our next match is going to be Tower Control and Inkblot Art Academy. Inkblot is a very dynamic map no matter what the mode. This is one of the crazier modes in my opinion, this and Rainmaker. What do you think we're going to be seeing right here?
Honestly, I'm not going to expect too many changes from the side of Lemon Sharks because I think they had a lot of good utility on their team that will work on Tower. If anything, I'm wondering if we'll still see the Dread Ringer again, maybe opting to play the new Dread Ringer, the horns, the one with the crab tank, because that could be a great tool while still keeping that main weapon. On the side of Spicy Fire Revived, I could totally see some adjustments come in. You know, they almost had that first game. They had a lot going for them, but they need that extra little bit of oomph to keep Lemon Sharks from getting back in control. They need to find a way to stagger them. Whether they get a more aggressive weapon that can get those quick picks, or whether they get some more specials that can really hold them away from the objective, that is the key for Spicy Fire Revived here.
I can agree with you on that. You mentioned how we might be seeing the switch in Dread Ringer. Typically, I would believe you, but after what happened the last time I was on SOS and I saw Dread Ringer on this map, I would be remiss if I didn't say I hope they keep it. You are correct; they do seem to swap off right here. Unfortunately, it's not for a Dread Ringer; it's for the new Stamper. Very similar comp on the side of Spicy Fire Revive, swapping out one of their shooters for a blaster, I believe. This will be a good set right here going into Game 2.
Yeah, game 2, let's see how our players roll out. 2 players already on the side of Lemon Shark opting to play for that right side. We have a couple of swords fighting the bottom side of the screen there, and both of them will opt to back out, it seems, and not overcommit. But as I say that, Fazbaz is just kind of really pushing that right side into Spicy Fire Revived, and actually they do manage to get a numbers advantage now. 2 players down, make that 3 as they're starting a little bit of a stagger, though 3 players off to go for the tower. Not really sure who should be pushing that objective. Fazbaz once again with this Booyah Bomb, but it's going to get splashed down in the corner. An unfortunate place to pop your special. Number 4 seems to be going down actually to water, and a little bit of a messy skirmish, but it does seem to be in the favor of Lemon Shark.
They got the, I mean, hey, they were able to get a trade right there with the Booyah, though that splashdown did quickly punish the Lemon Sharks advance at to start pushing them back right here, but they've still held on control of the main area. They've got a lot more paint on the map, and with this cooler coming out right here, they'll just be able to keep it. 2 of them do go down right here, and this splashdown might catch another one, and they're forcing them back right now. But with that cooler Lemon Shark's going to be able to get back into the game much quicker, and they already got Rain back out. And here it comes. We're going to see the paint prowess right now on the side of Lemon Shark is just monstrous. Even with the coolers and such coming out from Spicy Fire Revive, they're not able to establish enough of a foothold to really utilize their specials. The Stamp isn't able to get in, forcing it to throw right there. A torpedo kill right there, for making it even once again as they struggle to get away from those 10 missiles. A Booyah Bomb coming out right here. Again, we're just playing the neutral game right now, but with Spicy Fire Revive are going to have to be the people who get in as we're coming down to about 3 minutes on this game. Good pick right here from Fate. Or Rabbit. That's a Rabbit? Fabbit? What is that?
That is the joy of trying to figure out what their names are. I think it might be like Fobby because like they have like the brackets in the middle. I think it's just a part in the middle. Anyway,
yeah, but that was like an L as well. Okay.
Yeah, what I'm seeing from both of these teams is a lot of right side play on their respective sides, and neither team is really willing to push further than that. So each team is kind of controlling their right stack, playing by their tree, but they're not opting to go for a full flank. They're not also opting to try to take mid from the front side. So now we're finally seeing Lemon Shark get a good push here, going all the way to the second checkpoint. They're able to break through. But if you're a fan of Spicy Fire Revive, you want them to take this to a proper Game 3, you're going to want to see them push away Lemon Shark and then maybe utilize mid a little bit more. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself because Lemon Shark are still pushing further, going to this last checkpoint, and they want to hold this tower as long as possible, Jack.
They got a cooler on that tower, one of my favorite strats, because the cooler is able to block some shots and give you a bit of wiggle room on that tower, which is normally just a very big target on you. Spicy Fire Revive once again going down right here, just unable to really pick them out of their base, constantly having 2 down. Lemon Shark's doing a great job of picking team fights, making it so that they are always at least in a 2v1 situation right here. Doing a good job riding that tower, getting off when that suction bomb is coming out with that Booyah Bomb. You were talking about how both teams are doing a good job of just holding that right side, and that's important because, you know, if you can get that right side, you can get around the other team because the tower is obviously going to be going around more so towards the left side of the other map. Looks like Lemon Shark's maybe getting pushed out right here. It's staggered a bit, but I mean, hey, they're doing a good job of just holding their own. They're getting 1v1s once again. It's 4v4, it was 3v3, and we're once again almost back in midfield.
Yeah, the Lemon Sharks do opt to kind of rotate back and not overcommit. They started to stagger, as you said, but so was Spicy Fire Revived, so it gave them that footing to just keep kind of jumping in and wasting time. With a minute left in the clock, they have 2 full checkpoints and a little bit of change on that run to the third one to work with. So if they can get some of those GG specials, you know, they have a Booyah, they have that utility to just stop the tower from moving. Number 4 actually decided Spicy Fire Revive with Jet Squelcher opting to play very aggressive, but maybe overcommitted a little bit. I think it's good that Spicy Fire Revive are trying to push this because there's 30 seconds left, but they can't overcommit like that and just die for nothing.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's 3 down right here. With Cooler's a good lifeline and gets you back in that fight, but at what point does that lifeline become a bit of a crutch that maybe is a bit more wobbly than you realize? As once again, it's 3-3 right here. 2 specials in the favor of Spicy Fire Revive. Hammer throw from downtown right there from Sushi, able to pick one off. They need to be able to get this tower with only 14 seconds left on the clock. They have to push it 65 more points in order to get this win. And with how much pain is on the ground for the side of Lemon Shark, I don't know if they'll be able to do it, but they're going to be trying right here. Sushi's coming around the ink rail to try to get some hooks. It's 3v2 right here. Unfortunately, their tower rider goes down, allowing Lemon Shark to just safely jump on that tower as Sushi was in the back, unable to protect it. And that'll be Lemon Shark up 2-0 in this set.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, Spicy Fire knew that they had to play aggressively, but in that OT, they went a little bit too aggressive, leaving the tower by itself. They lose the 1v1 in water on that frozen throw, is able to just stroll onto the tower and shut that game down. So that is a 2-0 for Lemon Shark. This is a play all 3, so we will be saying game 3, but no matter what the outcome, Lemon Shark will be the winner of this game. But because this is a Swiss pools, we are looking for Spicy Fire Revive to get some brownie points here. This one match in this set will help them in future tiebreakers if need be. So they still need to lock in and win this game, and they need to prove that, you know, this set isn't a clean 3-0. They were close. They could have won this game because that game 1 did come down to the wire, and I'd like to see that happen again in game 3.
I agree with you with that, and this is going to be a match that's either extremely lopsided or very close, because Humpback is such a weird map. It's very different than almost any other map in the game, mainly due to its architecture being so curved. Bombs roll differently here, weapons have to take different angles with how the verticality of the stage works due to a lot of sloping, more so than other maps, which typically may have 1 or 2 ramps. This map is all ramps, so it's just very interesting to see. It's one of my favorite maps in the game, but that's partially because I'm a Splatoon 2 boy, and also because I'm a Dynamo player. So I have a lot of bias when it comes to this map, especially Rainmaker. I'm expecting to see a lot of aggressive picks. We saw a more aggressive shift with tower control. I feel like they should, the teams might switch even more aggressive here on Rainmaker, because you need to be able to push in there, especially on a map like this, which is so easy for like blasters to shoot you around corners with.
Yeah, and speaking of the aggression of these teams too, you can kind of see you know, Spicy Fire opting to be the much more aggressive comp. Again, seeing number 4 in that Jet Squelcher playing so far up. It does have a splashdown, but it is still a long-range backline shooter. Whereas Lemon Shark, you know, I looked at their builds last game, only 1 player running comeback, whereas on the side of Spicy Fire Revive, 3 of them are. Lemon Shark running a lot of special charge, a lot of utility in their builds. As we're about to see their builds come up on screen as these teams are readying up.
You were talking about special charge. I believe that's the new camo mini splat lane. It very much is. We're going to see a lot of Zuka this game, I feel. Yeah, as you were saying right there, we got a lot of special charge on the side. Stealth jump off for all players. And we see Sushi switch actually off into an Ink Brush. Or excuse me, the new Octobrush, looking for hopefully that Kraken being able to get it. Unfortunately, Spicy Fire Revives going to 3v4 to make that 2v4 right here. Unfortunately, getting picked off once again by that blaster. Water coming in with that knot, just pushing them back. And that's going to probably be a good first checkpoint right here. But let's see if Spicy Fire Revive can reestablish some control. We got a bit of mid-offs coming in right here. There goes their forward advance. Mara's getting stuck right there in some enemy ink. They are doing a good job not being too aggressive. Those strikes coming in are trying to push them out, but I think they're going to get it. They do.
Yeah, I do like that they got the checkpoint fairly early. You know, I'm usually not a fan of forcing the issue, but Lemon Shark, that is a very valuable checkpoint to have already. Specials coming in from both sides just to, you know, kind of buy some space, skirmish a little bit in mid, you know. Hopefully Sushi doesn't overcommit to this, kind of still ending in a bad spot, does get picked off in the 2v1 arc, getting the final kill, making that a double, actually, using this Rapid Blaster just to utilize some of those angles, you know, we alluded to earlier. Rainmaker pop coming out, Arc still wants a couple more, getting another assist. Looking at that window, we can see that would have been a perfect place to shoot, but does not quite able to know that because they don't have those names popping up like we do. But with 3 players down, Rainmaker is grabbed. Lemon Shark making that a delayed wipe. All players are in front of them, don't have to worry about flanks, and they're looking for some points.
This is doing a good job right here. Arc with the Rainmaker bunny hops. I always love seeing great like Rainmaker carrier plays. Arc just choosing to do my favorite thing when Rainmaker. There's a Slayer or a Skirmisher right in your face. You're gonna die. Send it. You get extra points, and Lemon Shark was able to push it all the way down to 19 right there. Spicy Fire Revive sending in a Zipcaster, just trying to get some picks. Unfortunately, not able to, as Sushi's holding on to a Kraken right here. Water going in with the Zuka, able to get the Rainmaker, but they were able to flank around and get that checkpoint, which is a good usage of the map right here. Not a lot of people go for that side checkpoint. I feel like a lot of people honestly forget it's in the game because it's at such a weird spot, but it can be a good sneak when a lot of the team is focused on one side, and you were able to see right there Pro Gamer able to get the kill on one of Lemon Shark's right here as the Zipcast comes back out. Rainmaker resets into the middle right here as we're once again playing the neutral game, but Lemon Shark are down 2. Spicy Fire Revive needs to get in there.
Yeah, Spicy Fire Revive, though they still have the middle of the map. And again, they do have the checkpoint thanks to that left push. It was a very interesting push as well, because usually when you see people take that left side, it's after the right side doesn't work. You know, they've made other attempts and can't get through. But the first time they held the Rainmaker the entire game, they said, okay, let's go left. Why not? Sure. So I do respect that. Sushi going for a stealth play, but picked off by a Nautilus in
the accidental bumper brush. It just hurts. That hurts. 3 players down on the side of Spicy Fire Revive as Arc is coming in right here, trying to get the 4th. Unfortunately, either doesn't hit him or doesn't see him. Potentially both. Sushi right here just trying to play a bit of spacing. Hopefully not going to get picked off by the Dread Ringer. Lemon Shark just needs to hold area right at this point. As with the first 2 games, they have their paint control is masterful right here. Just doing a good job of making it so Spicy Fire Revive just don't really have a chance to get into mid just because of how much blue ink is on the ground right here. Using the Zipcast to punish the crab right there, but unfortunately goes down. Strikes coming in a bit, maybe a bit later than they probably should have been to help cover that Zipcaster, but once again, it's a 4v4 right here. Make that 3v4. Lemon Shark's doing a good job of holding it with 1 minute and 13 seconds left on the clock. They need to just hold fast.
Yeah, it is just a stall here if you are a Lemon Shark. Spicy Fire Revived only have the checkpoint, no extra points on top of that. And, you know, getting to 18, it's definitely doable. They have an aggressive comp. They know how to push forward. But Lemon Sharks are fully aware that's how they want to play, and they're not going to let them get through. Here comes the Kraken, though, from Sushi, and also the strikes from Pro Gamer. So opting to just kind of use all those specials and overwhelm Lemon Shark to take the middle of the map. 2 players down, starting to stagger in a bad spot because that splashdown and the brush above them. 1 goes down, but the double from a rolling torpedo, I think?
Or I believe you are correct right here, and the crab is probably, it might be able to get off. There's the wipe right there. I think that'll be Lemon Shark. The clip, important clip right there. Always good to see that in tournament play. Lemon Shark doing their best to just hold on right here. 15 seconds left. Spicy Fire Revive has to touch that Rainmaker. If they're not able to, this game ends in 10 seconds. Unfortunately, they're down with only 3 players. They got a splashdown ready, so I think 4 is coming down right here to try to get it. Unfortunately, Lemon Shark grabs the Raider. They get picked off, though. It's two down on the side of Spicy Fire Revive. That's going to be a pop for Lemon Shark, and they are able to grab it right there. Dang, that almost the glimmer of hope right there in the last moments quashed by the explosion of the Rainmaker.
Yeah, unfortunately for Spicy Fire Revived, couldn't quite get any pushes generated there, unable to get any points on the board other than that first checkpoint. So that will be a 3-0 for Lemon Shark. One of those sets that you look at it on paper and say, yeah, they're the much higher seed. You know, they 3-0'd. This is expected, but Spicy Fire Revive made them work for it. Game 1 and 3 especially. Game 1, for the most part, there was a lot going on for Spicy Fire, but Lemon Shark kind of managed to lock in those second and third games. You know, they got the warm-up. They figured out how Spicy Fire wanted to play the game and ultimately took the entire set. But again, this is the first game of the day. There are still 5 more rounds of this Swiss, so both teams can still have they still have a lot of games ahead of them before they are determined what bracket they're making for day 2.
I'm looking forward to seeing some more games. This was the first shot. 3-0 on the side of Lemon Shark. As you said, they figured out game 1 just how Spicy Fire plays, and just good adaptation from there. I feel like one of the biggest reasons that Lemon Shark was able to win this game, I mentioned it a few times in game, was just the ability they had to just hold area and paint. Because Splatoon as a game is a very control focused. You need to make sure you have you are creating movement areas by yourself, in the sense of you are painting for yourself, but you're also painting for your teammates, and you're painting to stop the enemy team from getting into your area. And I feel like Lemon Shark just did such a good job on all of their pushes or initial skirmishes that they were just able to hold on to the main area of the map, and just Spicy Fire Revive just wasn't really able to get in, aside from in that first Mark game.
Yeah, and that's just how it ends up working sometimes. You have that potential, but eventually it just gets squandered. And I would have liked to see the aggression from Spicy Fire Revive be a bit more coordinated, because they had the utility, they had the specials, they had the weapons, they had the play style, but ultimately they weren't able to work together to kind of break through that defense of the Lemon Sharks.
I was sort of seeing it more towards the end of that last game. I saw I mentioned it, how the strikes came out maybe just a slight bit too late for the Zipcast, or not, whether that was the strikes weren't ready or the Zipcast went too early. It doesn't matter. In the heat of the moment, you do what you do. But we saw later on the strikes came in with Sushi's Kraken push, or in the last little bit right there, the splashdown. Also, I believe either with the Kraken or with the strikes, it did a good job allowing them to get back to area, and they might have been able to do something if Lemon Shark wasn't able to swiftly punish them.
Now, I'm excited to see how both those teams will do the rest of the day, but we have our next match, a brand new set of teams. I am very excited for this one. because we have Prankster Comet versus my goats, the 6-pack Yokes. One of my favorite low-level teams. They're all very lovely people I love to hang out with. So not to be biased, but I'm gonna be biased. I love the 6-pack Yokes, but Prankster Comet, they are actually. I want to check the seeds of these teams. Yeah, so 6-pack. This is a close game. 6-pack Yokes being seed 70, Prankster Comet coming in seed 76. So two of these teams, they're kind of the lower end of the seeding, and they have both lost their first games of the day. So one of these teams is going to fix their record, go 1-1, and kind of get back on track to having a good day one.
I'm seeing some Yokes don't choke in the chat right now, so I'm hoping that lives up to the little catchiness of it. Our first game is going to be Splat Zones on Mahi Mahi Resort. This is this is a very interesting Splat Zones map because, as most of us know, once you get to 50 points or halfway through the time of the match, the sea level of the resort drops. The pool level the pool drains, and you get a lot more area to work with, a lot more flank routes, a lot more areas to jump down from. So it makes it for a very dynamic game, but it also allows for a team that might be holding zone to get into the enemy's base a bit easier. So it can be very back and forth or very one-sided. And I'm very interested to see what we see right here. As you're very familiar with these two teams, what do you think we might be seeing in this first match?
I am looking at the active roster for the Yokes, and there is a more than 100% chance we are going to be seeing a gray arrow spray. We are going to see that Reef-Slider arrow spray from Neko Kaneko. If we don't, I will quit my job as a commentator. So that is going to be a tool that the Prankster Comet team is going to have to figure out how to get around, because you're going to be seeing a lot of Reef-Sliders coming in for that zone. And it's going to be similar to what we saw in the last set that we watched in game one. As soon as you have a lead and you have a Reef Slider, it's kind of hard to lose that game unless the other team is just way better than you, because you have a tool to flip the zone and apply another big penalty. So Prankster Comet are going to need to get a very early lead and a strong lead. But as you mentioned, this map changes at 60 points, and it's a very different ball game as soon as as soon as the map changes. So even if you're sitting comfortable for that first 40 points, who knows what's going to happen after the water levels change.
That is very true, and I'm looking at Prankster Comet's what weapons they typically play. I'm seeing a lot of rollers, and that makes me happy. This is a good roller map, especially for, I do see a Dynamo as one of the weapons of choice for Cyrus, I believe is their name. I'm looking forward to seeing that potentially, but one of their players, ZB, seems to be a roller aficionado. Flingza and Big Swig are very good here, especially that new Big Swig with the splashdown torpedo kit. That'll be very helpful on this map. This is a very easily splashdown center area. I'm expecting to see a lot of either maybe some Big Swig or maybe what's the name of the Nautilus that has the splashdown kit? Is it Nouveau? Brands, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I call it the Gold Nautilus because it has a gold trim on it. That's the best we got. Or the annoying Nautilus, as some people like to put it.
Hey, both of them are annoying. It just depends on which thing. We saw in the first game that Lemon Sharks were able to use the Vanilla Knot to great effect with its rain pressure, as well as just point sensor being an underrated awareness of where the enemy team is. So maybe we might be seeing some of that. It looks like it's going to be a very aggressive comp on the side of Prankster Comet. Seeing a lot of, once again, rollers, dualies, a lot of skirmishing weapons. So, and this is a good skirmisher map. So I'm looking forward to it personally.
Yeah. See, I googled it, and the Nautilus with splashdown is just called Nautilus 79. So similar to the S-Blast and the NZAP, they just gave it a different number, which really doesn't help my case for trying to remember all the names of weapons.
There's some that have a specific company, and that's like their name. Shout out back to Splatoon 2 with the Kenza weapons. But then you have ones that are just named. The new sets are a good example of this, because even though they're all either one or the all the third kit weapons are two specific brands in the game, they all have different secondary names. Star's Dynamo Roller as opposed to the Glam Splatter Shot, for example.
See, I don't get paid enough as a commentator to remember all these weapon names. I just looked it up. There are 65 different main weapons with a total of 173 kits in this game. And you expect me to remember the name of every single one of those weapons? I don't make enough money to do.
I don't either, but it more so comes from playing against them for so many years and potentially seeing them on the "you got killed by this weapon" screen so many times. It's just honestly trauma at this point, especially from very specific weapons such as my dreaded Bloblobber and Dreadringer, hence the name.
Sorry, when you said the dreaded Bloblobber, I imagined a Bloblobber that swings twice like a Dreadringer.
Don't you speak that into existence. Oh my god. That is like, I'm gonna go to bed thinking about that tonight. I'm gonna wake up in a cold sweat and like grab like the dynamo roller underneath my bed, like in fear of the monster that lives underneath it. I know. Do not speak that into existence.
The Dread Blobber isn't real. It can't hurt you. But yeah, so we are hopefully getting into this game very soon. I'm sure we're just waiting for our players to get readied up. Again, this is one of those sets that both, like I mentioned before, both of these teams have lost game one. So they started off with a rough start to day one. So looking to make a comeback, both these teams. Again, your score line on day one, for those of you who don't know, is how you get determined for a bracket for day two. So if you are in the top of the day, you're going to go to alpha bracket, then if not beta bracket, gamma bracket, etc. So both these teams looking to kind of up their score a little bit, get into a new bracket, but we're getting ahead of ourselves because we have to actually play the games. Here we are loading into Mahi Mahi Resort. There's the Aerospray. I called it.
Okay, so you don't have to, sign off after this game because you quit your job of being a commentator. These are both very aggressive comps right here. One slightly more Slayer focused, another is slightly more paint focused in the sense of six-pack to Yokes got a bit more paint. The Slayer, however, coming from Prankster Comet, two go down right here on the side of Prankster Comet, and it's even up to a 2v2. Early take over right there by six-pack Yoke with a Reef Slider coming in to secure the deal right here. They are pushing in right now. The movement on this Splushmatic with the stamp coming out right here, trying to get that splat, and they do so. Unfortunately, missed the jump, and they are Prankster Comet's able to get a pick off right here. James and many are trying to do their best to get in here. Wavebreaker coming out as they're pushing forward right here. Dodges the Wavebreaker, gets the kill, gets the double kill on the crowd right here. Aggressive Aerospray right here. Unfortunately, someone seemed to slip back and cause them to lose control of the zone, which is going to allow Prankster Comet a bit more time to get in here.
I've never seen an Aerospray kill a crab tank before. I've never arcing the shots up to get the hit on the head. Kaneko plays a lot of Aerospray, so it's definitely mastered this weapon to an extent that a lot of people who play comp just haven't even tried to do. I respect it. But yeah, 10 ticks till the six-pack Yokes take this game. We haven't even talked about that. They've just been holding the zone, a Reef-Slider to seal the deal. They didn't even need the zone cheese because six-pack Yokes just locked out Prankster Comet that whole game.
I've never seen movement on an Aerospray quite like that. And like you said, I was sort of in awe when I saw an Aerospray charge a crab tank. For a moment, I was about to say, when I was still talking in that moment, I was about to say, oh yeah, we see the gal right here pushing the crab tank. And then I'm like, wait, they don't have a gal. What's that? And I'm like, it's an Aerospray? And they were able to get the kill right there. Hey, if the crab isn't looking at you, it can't really shoot you. So always, and with how slow it can be to turn, if you get a good flank on that crab with a fast weapon, they're not going to be able to react in time. And unfortunately, they weren't able to curl up in time to avoid those shots. And that was a very, very quick game. Like we talked about how this map can either be very, very like back and forth or extremely one-sided. And it was the latter in this case.
Yeah, and six-pack Yokes did just have a great comp for that. They have the Aerospray and the NZAP to just completely paint the zone and not let Prankster Comet contest it. They have the machine and the sploosh to say, guess what, you're dead. And even though we did see Prankster Comet getting some picks, they weren't, giving them an advantage. For a while in the middle of that match, we saw the spec cam would spectate somebody, they'd get a kill, then die. Then they spec to the person who got the kill, then they'd die. Switch person that got the kill, they die. So it was a constant, just both teams losing a player back and forth, and that stall out was in favor of six-pack Yokes because we were on splat zones. So looking at Clam Blitz on Crab Leg, I tried to say both of them at the same time. It's
Clam
gonna be a
legs,
different story.
clam leg, clavicle.
You would not believe how many times I have tried to say like Rainmaker on Clam Blitz Crab Leg. Clam Blitz is synonymous with Crab Leg to me because it's the alliteration as well as just it being the more common mode on the map. But there's no stallouts here in terms of getting points. The only stallouts are to try to wait for the timer to run out. So if there is a stall in this game like game one, it's not going to fan out the same way that we saw it. Though we are seeing a couple of adjustments on either side. Now the Nautilus coming in from Lantern Fox instead of the Headit, and also the Dapples coming in from Neko Kaneko inside of the Yokes.
I feel like Prankster Comet realized they might have needed a bit more mobility and a bit more paint to go, but maybe it doesn't really matter because it's already a three down on the side of Prankster Comet. You need to jump out of there, good friend, and they are able to do so before Kaneko was able to just fiend for that kill. Reef Slider coming out right here to try to disperse the remaining members of Prankster Comet. Gets a double kill right there with the rolling torpedo. Unfortunate, and that is a wipeout. I thought it was a wipeout against Six-pack Yoke. The hammer shot almost hitting them right there. Prankster Comet needs to push them out as they're doing as Six-pack Yokes are doing a great job of just funneling clams back into each other. There's the return wipeout, but you know that was an amazing push on the side of Six-pack Yokes, able to get all the way down to 41 points. We're seeing James right here just move up with the speed those dually squelchers allow them to move. However, I feel like the big thing that Prankster Comet needs to do right here is get some paint on the ground and also get some kills, which they're able to do so. 2 down right there. Unfortunately, the last one remaining is Kaneko, who is able to get the last 2, and unfortunately that super clam is probably going to break, and that'll be the end of that little push right there. Kaneko, this is aggressive.
Yeah, Neko needs to slow down a little bit there. Let the team come back, and there's a slider getting one, but other players on the side of Prankster Comet utilizing the wall, but it doesn't matter because there's still a dually in the way. Neko getting a triple kill in the spawn of Prankster Comet, allowing the team to get in a couple of more pity clams, only 10 points left, but a delayed wipe. Neko's the first back, did jump in, but has to back up, will not be able to. Prankster Comet already kind of on the ropes in this game. They got a push, but it was a little bit too quick, and they needed to get some more picks. So right now, we might need to see Prankster Comet slow down, let the Six-pack Yokes walk into them, and set up a trap where they can really get those picks and to get a good push going, because there's a lot of time, but you're going to need a lot of clams.
The aggression from Six-pack Yoke right here is oppressive. Unfortunately, Prankster Comet doing what she said right there, just paying a bit more patient. Galera able to get a double kill right there with one swing of the stamp. They got a zip cast right here, probably about to pop it right here to hopefully get some pressure, distract the rest of the team, allow for Prankster Comets to just get their clams in, but unfortunately goes down. And once again, Prankster Comets are just pushed back. They're not doing a good enough job of probably dispersing and then getting the picks that they need. They're just trading. And like we were trying to talk about before the game started, getting kills is important. Staying alive is honestly more so important. You can't do anything if you're dead. And with how quick these teams move, the trade game is not something you want to play, even on mode like Clam Blitz.
Yeah, watching this game, it does seem like Prankster Comet are very antsy. Seeing a lot of plays here that aren't really fully calculated. A lot of just trying to force the issue, trying to push up and get some of those picks in spots where they might not be able to really get it within reason. They're looking for Six-pack Yokes to make mistakes, but in the process, Prankster Comet seem to be making mistakes themselves. So they are losing numbers advantage once again. PB James trying to find a little bit of space here, maybe getting a pick. There it goes. But as the last player alive with a power clam, every player Six-pack Yokes knows where they are. And just look at how blue this map is. Six-pack Yokes are playing for control.
With how fast all of their weapons are and how much paint they put out, I'm honestly not surprised we see as much blue on the ground as we do right here. That's 2 down for Prankster Comet. Their Super Clam's going to go away right here. We were talking about paint, but also just the control that Six-pack Yokes have right here on the eco. The Clam Blitz economy. That splashdown's going to be big. It gets one, stops a bit of the push, but Kaneko never once has heard the word stop, I don't think, or slow down. I think they just sort of tuned that out, because I don't think I saw Kaneko ever do something that ever was much of a retreat that was an immediate backslide into getting back in there. With the aggression that they had, it's going to secure the game right here. for Six Packs Yokes, going up 2-0 in this set. It's fast games.
Yeah, and again, it was just control. We talked about the paint, we talked about their ability to get those picks, but the number of clams. There were I didn't keep a tally. I think there must have been 5 or 6 total power clams going into the basket on the side of Six Pack Yokes across that game. Because even at the very end there, we saw Neko manage to live through the splashdown with the slider, get the power clam in, grab the second power clam, but a third power clam off of the screen went in to end the game before that power clam went in. So just control in every aspect from Six Pack Yokes in that game. So Prankster Comet, again, this is a play all three, so they still have a chance to take a game here and get some brownie points for some later tiebreakers today, because they're definitely going to need it, already being down 0-2 in the day. So they're looking for something here to kind of get that momentum, because in a lot of these lower level tournaments, momentum is key. Having the hype, having like the morale up in knowing that you can win those games is huge. But Six Pack Yokes are the ones with the momentum right now.
They do very much have that momentum, and it's not hard to see why with how much of a momentum. This is the like epitome of a momentum focused comp. It's high aggression, high movement, high paint, and it's all or nothing. If they get pushed back, they're able to sort of like maybe like disperse. But like really, if they get pushed back and they into their goal, Prankster Comet it would be able to just sort of do their best to disperse them and get some points in there. But Six Pack Yokes do a great job of adapting to this weakness that their comps have. They're always playing together, and just their raw like movement speed is able to just slow down that of their opponents, even when their opponents might be in good stride to get some points in there, because they were able to stop all the advances that Prankster Comet was able to do as we head right here into our third game on tower control.
Yeah, and already I'm looking at this game. Lantern Fox did go back to the head at Galera, switching to the Tetra Dualies instead of the Stamper that we've seen them on the previous matches. On the side of Six Pack Yokes, we do see Vowel switching off from the Machine onto the Vanilla Slosher, and Neko flexing their weapon pool, switching to that new Big Swig. You alluded to that earlier with a player from Prankster Comet instead on the side of Six Pack Yokes. And already, speaking of the Yokes, first checkpoint halfway down.
Once again, Prankster Comet was just really scattered that opening push, allowing the Yokes to just pick them off real easily with their aggression. Great Big Swig, doing as Big Swig do, swinging that V swing around the back. Six Pack Yokes coming in here trying to get a kill with that stamp. I think that stamp was able to get a kill with the throw, but I might be wrong. Galera doing their best right here to try to get that jump. Backs out, and honestly, that was the smart move, because it seems like that was the splashdown. The Reef Slider coming out right here, able to get a 3 down on the side of Six Pack Yokes. Prankster need to try to capitalize off this. That forces the jump on the side of Six Pack Yokes. They need to get some paint on the ground now. Galera pushing in right here, getting a pop. Thank gosh for that recharge on the rolls that we see from Tetras. This is a good job right here. They need to hold this area, and they need to work together.
Prankster Comet running the double dually comp is just a skill check for Six Pack Yokes. It says, okay, can you aim well? Can you hit both of us? And we're rolling around the map constantly. Six trying to force their way to the tower, unable to make it in time. That will be checkpoint for Prankster Comet, pushing towards this lead. They're starting a stagger. I have not seen more than 3 Six Pack Yokes alive for the last little bit here. Neko trying to roll over PB James, but Big Swing doesn't do enough damage. Does get the pick, but at this last checkpoint, Prankster Comet's trying to force the issue. Neko doing the splashdown to confirm the wipeout, and Six Pack Yokes are holding on, but they did lose their lead. They lost the map, but they have plenty of time to still try to take a sweep today.
They also got plenty of paint, because you say they lost the area, and that's only just because they got pushed back. With the tower once again controlling, returning to mid right here, Six Pack Yokes to kind of look to reestablish their paint control that they had early on in this game. Just some mid-offs right here. That is 3 specials on the side of Six Pack Yokes. Galera trying to force him back with that Reef Slider, but it's immediately met with a counter Ink Strike. We're just seeing Six Pack Yokes just slowly advance, and that is a wipeout right there. Once again, they did what they do best. They dispersed Prankster Comet. They got him fumbling, and they picked him off one at a time for that wipeout. And they're doing it again right here as they push into Prankster Comet in space. They're at the second checkpoint and about to get lead.
But no, they were lacking numbers. Actually, many jumping Yokes trying to just get on here and pray. There's only one player left alive. It is the Tetras. They have to just keep rolling around and try to get this tower. No, the lead. I didn't think the Yokes were going to get that lead there because it is just, they did not have the numbers advantage. It was just jump after jump, probably like 12 jumps.
Yeah, I think that was like 12. I think that was like 12 or 13 Inklings and Octolings that I just saw continuously die on that tower. I'll hand it back to you now.
Yeah, so the six-pack Yokes, those KDs are going to be squandered, but it doesn't matter if you get the win, because not only do they get the lead, they got the checkpoint. And now with 1 minute and 30 seconds left, they have to just kind of defend this. Having the checkpoint gives you a huge safety net because you just have to, you let the tower get to that point, and that's the go button. That's when you strike. That's when you splash down. That's when 6 gets behind the tower with that hammer. You know, it's when you drop your soda and let the team run free. So six-pack Yokes have a great opportunity to win this game. But with 1 minute left, Prankster Comet, we saw them with a crazy opening push earlier. It's totally possible for them to still win this because we've seen a lot of staggering from six-pack Yokes.
Yeah, 6 right here trying to do some movement, unable to get the kill with Thor's hammer back there. B versus 6 right here, just trying to do their best. The Flings just fly swatting them, eventually kills that annoying little mosquito of a Splatoon-matic. 10 missiles coming out right here. The solo 10 missiles feel slightly disrespectful until it's necessary, such as in situations like this. They need to keep six-pack Yokes back there. Unfortunately, B's going to go down right there, push a little too close to the sun. Neko just waiting, able to get the sharp right there and pushing in, heading towards that tower. Crab counteracting it, trying to push him out. Unfortunately, the Crab is double teamed on a few different sides, allowing Neko to just continue this push, but goes down right there to the jump from Galera.
Yeah, 15 seconds left. The Yokes have control of the tower. Epic just trying to make sure this tower goes as far away from the checkpoint as possible. 6 getting the double kill with that hammer, trying to get some last-second brownie points in this game as we're counting down. Tower is striked. No players in sight. Do get the wipeout from the jump. Six-pack Yokes hold on to game 3 to take this clean sweep and get themselves back into low ink day 1.
And then that goes to showcase, like we talked about momentum, then with how fast-paced Splatoon is, momentum's incredibly important, but how you respond to momentum and adaptation is important. We saw it in between games right there with the change to a more dually centered comp from Prankster Comet, which did scramble six-pack Yoke a bit, and they were also able to adjust their game plan, adopting a bit of the Yoke's own strategy of just dispersion, doing their best to just keep the Yokes guessing, keep them scattered, and just picking them off one by one. The Yokes, however, did what's almost even more important, which is adaptation mid-game. They were able to recognize the strategy Prankster Comet was doing, adapt, see where they were failing, and make changes to that, and they were able to get a push in by just throwing their lives onto that tower, which typically is not the strategy you want to see, but in a situation like that where you're building for a splashdown, it works, and they were able to get the lead, and those 6 points may not mean much in the beginning of the game, but at the end of the days, that is what counts as a victory and a 3-0 for six-pack Yokes.
Yeah, and I will say too, I did like what I saw from Prankster Comet in that game because they had a lot going for them. They had that lead, and it seems like in general their play style of the game was more of a Hail Mary. They had the double dualies to skill check the Yokes. I'm not sure if anyone saw, but in the builds, Galera on that Tetra had opening Gambit. They were opting to just get some of those early picks and use that momentum to make them stronger in that game and kind of just continue to force down the Yokes. But eventually, they finally cracked. The Yokes found that opportunity. They got back that lead with all of those rapid-fire super jumps. You know, they were probably just like, okay, everyone just spam A, just let's get in here, we'll get this tower, and then we'll chill after it's done, and that's exactly what they did. And especially with 2 of them running last-ditch effort, being Vowels and Epic, you know, they had the abilities to get there. They finally made it, and that's ultimately what got them that win over Prankster Comet.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that the Yokes cracked the eggs on the Prankster Comets. Not my best joke, but, you know, I was trying for something right there.
Yeah. Now, anyway, as a wise man once said, the Yokes don't choke. So congratulations to the Yokes for taking that game. So now 1-1 in day 1. Technically, Prankster Comet, who are 0-2, it's possible to still make brackets. You know, usually a score line of 3-3 or better is what you usually aim for. So it's totally possible for them to get that next game. But that being said, that is the end of that set. We are going to go to a quick break before our next round. This set was fairly quick. See, originally we started on a delay, so we were behind, and now we managed to get ahead somehow. That's just how Splatoon
we're somehow ahead of schedule, but when you have 2 3-0s, I guess that sort of resets things in terms of timer.
Yeah, so we'll be going to a very, very quick break. We'll be back with round 3 of Lowing July 2025, day 1. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be back very soon. Welcome back, everyone, to Low Ink July 2025. Once again, I'm Hammy, joined by Jolteon Jack. And now this is our last match on our comm block. So I was really hoping for a good one, and we have been delivered. Future Tone versus 07 Honor Bound. Regular alpha bracket teams, relatively close in skill level, teams that I have played against a lot in the last 2 years. So these are all players that I know very well. I'm excited to see how this plays out. And Jack, how do you feel about this upcoming set?
I'm looking forward to it. I know I've said that for the past two sets as well, but I adore watching Honor Bound play. They are probably my favorite team that I have had the pleasure to commentate these past few months, and they are an absolute treat to watch, especially my hero, Luke Skywalker, on the team. Always good to see Mark Hamill joining the fray and playing some Splatoon with us. This is going to be a fun game. Starting off with an interesting first match, which is going to be Splat Zones on Ship's Shape Cargo Co. Then transitioning to Scorch Gorge Rainmaker and Clan Blitz on Museum Dolphonsino. Very interesting lineup of matches today. We were talking earlier about how we think this is actually not going to be a sweep. This is going to be a back and forth. This is going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, as you say, these different map modes in this round, very different dynamics in how they are going to function. So we're gonna get to see the variety of how these teams are able to tackle different situations and be able to one-up each other. Realistically, I don't know if Future Tone and Honorbound have a history, but like I said, these are both teams that I have played against a lot. In fact, Honorbound have been scrim partners for ours for years now. And so I would like to imagine these teams have seen each other in previous low inks, in other events, maybe even in scrims. So a lot of mind games potentially here, as these players know how each other like to play already. There's not that game one formality of figuring out your opponent's comp and play style. They might just off rip already know what they want to do to try to take this set, because this is going to be a very, very important win for whichever team comes out on top.
Yeah, looking into the comps that both these teams are playing, Honorbound plays a very, very heavy paint and focus around pencil. So that'll be very interesting to see here on this map, because this isn't typically a pencil map, at least not in here in Splat Zones. We do see one pencil on one side of the team, Future Tone right here. Honorbound instead focusing to go on a very high focus on paint, but with the new range blaster for that cooler instead. That'll be interesting, because I've been seeing a lot of debate on like what is the new best cooler between pencil and that new range blaster. Already a good pick off in the start here for Honorbound. They're just doing a good job of just holding this area, just getting some paint in. Already a Booyah Bomb coming out right here, and a Zuka to match, just keeping them keeping Future Tone off of their stack, trying to keep them on the low ground where it's easier to pick them off.
Yeah, and again, talking about both these comps, I'm looking at Future Tone running the Pencil and the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco. So I'm looking to see how Duke Loser is going to be playing this blaster, because as it's the longest range blaster in the game, it is typically used kind of like a backliner. As you can see in the side of Honorbound, you know, looking at Warrior running the Rapid Blaster, the new Rapid Blaster Pro Deco. Or Rapid Blaster Pro, sorry. So, interesting dynamic of how they're going to be running those respective weapons. But Honorbound in control of this map so far. They did get a penalty applied, and those strikes are going to push out both their players on the top right side. The Crab having to drop down. Nathan going top left doesn't matter, because getting a pick now behind, trying to flank on this Pro, but does get picked off by the respawns. Future Tone are finally in control.
Unfortunately, a Pro in the back, in the enemy black lines is not scary when there's 3 Inklings looking at you with blasters and sloshers drawn. The counter is ticking down right here. Future Tone's going to take lead, but with 3.5 minutes left on the clock, this could go either way. Honorbound able to get a pick off right here. We're expecting to see the Zuka come out, as well as the Crab tank, maybe a Booyah Bomb in just a second. Pieman able to get a kill with the last shot of that Crab onto P2. We're seeing Honorbound come back in here, and they do retake control of the zone. And I do think Ribbon was able to get off that cooler before it flipped. So once again, Future Tone is just back out in there. A counter cooler coming out here from Honorbound. We're holding a lot of area. This is what makes Ship Shape such an interesting Splat Zones map.
Yeah, it's a peculiar map shape, so it does lend a lot to certain weapons and certain specials. Miku trying to play very aggressive, getting picked off by Warrior there. Once again, Honorbound grabbing the zone without getting the penalty. They're pushing for this lead, only 5 ticks away from flipping that lead. The Crab coming out on the top right side from Pieman will help by a little bit of space. And one thing I'd like to point out here, again, from being somebody who's played against these teams, I find that Future Tone is a hard team to break back in against, whereas Honorbound is a hard team to hold the objective against. So we kind of have an unstoppable force versus an immovable object situation here. So I am really interested to see who's going to be able to continue to get this push down, as Future Tone, being great at holding the zone, are now back in control and looking to keep Honorbound away.
I mean, we're already seeing this, the closest games of Splat Zones that we've had so far today. That Booyah Bomb coming out right here, able to keep the zone just on hold for a bit, but Future Tone is once again able to take control. That penalty is ticking down. They might be able to get lead right here in the last 1 minute and 45 seconds. Ribbon doing their best to just apply that pencil pressure that we see, the burst damage, able to just... It's so scary, despite the fact that you would think something that only does, you know, what originally looked like a bamboozler, but is actually much scarier than the little stick. There is a lead right here, only 15 points left. Honorbound needs to get in there. Unfortunately, Nathan's Booyah Bomb does get shot down, but it is able to go off. Honorbound need to capitalize off. They do so and flip the zone right here. That'll give them the sea legs they need to stand on right now. Warrior, the absolute speed of the poke right here on the Rapid Blaster, just trying to get them off of this platform. They're able to do so, forcing them back into the mid lane where all of them are clumped up. This is a great spot for a Rapid Blaster to be. We've seen a bit of a Rapid Blaster off along with the Pencil joining in. Counter Whale coming out right here trying to disperse Warrior and their teammate. One member down on each side. Only 8 points left on that penalty. Honorbound might be able to take control right here, but here come the strikes.
Strike came in, but not enough for Honorbound's paint output. 2 shooters in the zone will be able to confirm that, but the entirety of Future Tone are all painting the zone, but they can't flip it. There it is, but not without losing 3 players in the process. Make that 4. Honorbound didn't get the lead, but they get the wipeout. With 30 seconds left, Jack, they're gonna need to hold.
They are so, and typically this is where a lot of teams would see to try to push in and just be as disruptive as possible. Honorbound still holding ahead of the zone, still trying to keep Future Tone in their base, but they're not pushing up to the point where it's going to be a detriment. 8 seconds left on the clock. There's only 7 points left on that penalty. Make that 2. Only 2 points left, and Honorbound is going to take lead right here, and the game ends. Future Tone unable to break out right there in the end, sending Honorbound to 1-0 in this first of 3. What a crazy first game that was.
And Honorbound proving that the unstoppable force does trump the immovable object, but that is only game 1 in this set, and it was a close one. So yeah, the next 2 games can definitely be a different story, because as we alluded to earlier, these map modes are going to be very different from each other. So Honorbound are in the lead. They have that safety net. One more game will confirm their victory in this play all 3. But Future Tone are looking to flip the script here, going into Rainmaker Scorch Gorge.
Scorch Gorge is a very interesting map. I typically see it more so in terms of Clan Blitz, so it's going to be interesting seeing a Rainmaker game right here. You can either choose the line of Inkfire and Crab Central, that is the right side ramp, or you can try the somehow even more precarious great approach off on the left side, so it has multiple points for entry. This can be a very good defensive map because you can there's a lot of spots that you can sort of go around and try to pick people off, but because of how big the area of the team's bases are, it also allows for a lot of people to just get in there, especially if you got a sharking weapon. You can just really quickly see somebody move in, take it to some area, and just be as disruptive as possible. And with a game mode like Rainmaker, we might see a lot of that.
Yeah, and I just in general for Rainmaker, I am expecting to see a lot of weapon swaps. You know, I feel like there are some things in their comps that might not work. Again, looking at Future Tone, they kind of had that pseudo double backline comp with the Rapid Pro and the Pencil. I'm expecting Duke Loser to pull out a much more aggressive blaster in this game, and no adjustment, actually a slight adjustment on the side of Honorbound.
Different Frozen Pro.
Yeah, instead of the Forge. And yes, there is Duke Loser on the Vanilla Blaster, opting for a little bit more aggression. But other than that, no swaps across the board. So both teams pretty confident how they wanted to play it. Honorbound already getting the first pop of the game. But with a member down, Future Tone are starting to take control.
Make that 2 members. Those Tenet missiles not really doing too much. They were able to force one member of Future Tone into that little corner right there to get picked off Ribbon, and Duke Loser right here able to push the remaining members of Honorbound back so they can pick up Rainmaker and just get the first little bits of points right here. Playing it very carefully, using that barrier right there in the middle of the push to try to block any shots or bombs that might be, and that's the first checkpoint already for Future Tone. They're doing a great job of painting into Honorbound's base. We are about to see Ivy here with the Zuka probably try to snipe that Zuka. Unfortunately, Honorbound misses the shot. Those missiles are going to force them to move. Defensive Zuka shot unfortunately misses right there, and we're seeing strikes come out. This is just a real back and forth, but here comes Ribbon just moving up right there.
Yeah, already getting 24 points on the board. That's the kind of push that Future Tone want. As I said, much better defensive prowess on this team than Honorbound, so getting that early lead does allow them to stall out this game if need be. Obviously, they'd like to continue pushing for more points, but with Honorbound taking control, though we do see Nathan standing still a little bit too long.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It is too late, though, I believe. Future Tone have too many points on the board to quit out now. So Honorbound they're going to have to try to run this 3v4 when Future Tone have pushed to 17 and they haven't gotten a single point on the board.
And we're seeing Future Tone just get picked off right there. It's a 2v2 now, which typically would mean Honorbound might have a bit of an advantage here going into the offensive little push right here, but they are a member down, so they're not going to have another person on the respawn. Warrior doing a great job here, just holding space, trying to buy time for their teammates to spawn back in, but unfortunately, Future Tone just overwhelmed them with their numbers, and once again, that Rainmaker is probably going to be in the hands of Ribbon once it gets popped right here. Their cooler allowing them to move even faster, even with the Rainmaker's lower mobility. I do not know how Honorbound can possibly make a comeback on this, but you know, I've seen stranger things in this game, and with 2.5 minutes left, it's not impossible.
Yeah, the only way Honorbound take this is just to be better. They have to get those picked and they have a permanent numbers disadvantage, and the only way to win is to get a numbers advantage, but that wipeout is going to seal that game. Future Tone taking it fairly quickly, and obviously for that DC, which is one of those unfortunate circumstances. So that opening push really did spell that game for Future Tone.
Yeah, it very much did. I've never one of the things with Scorch is if you are able to get in there, it's really hard to get him out. We did see Honorbound able to push him out, but the point deficit at that point was just too great. I will say the hardest part about Scorch is unless you get a wipe, you're not getting up that ramp at the end there. It is almost impossible to get up if there's more than two, or even just a lot of the times just one teammate, one enemy team member just waiting on that ramp. But we're going to be going into the last game right here on Museum de Alfonsino. This is a very interesting crab match due to the rotating pillars in the center, but also the ones in either team's base, allowing for a bit of verticality play, as well as some very cool ways to get the super clam in the basket.
Yeah, the one of the unfortunate things about the second game being so quick is we didn't get to see as much from both of these teams in terms of, you know, how they play, because I feel like Scorch Gorge is a more similar map to Museum than it is to Shipshape, and so we could have seen a bit more insight into how they're going to play this third game. But that being said, yeah, a lot of verticality that they can play with. Again, those spinners are going to be huge tools to allowing these teams to really get some of those extended pushes, being able to get above and beyond your opponent in terms of score and in terms of positioning, as well as, you know, just make it awkward for the other team to defend. But we have seen a lot of weapons on both sides that are really good at holding out those spinners and holding out your plat in general. So this is going to come down to who can get a really good push and then maybe kind of stave off your opponent.
No changes once again on the side of Honorbound, and the exact same comp here from Future Tone as well. They might not be running back the last Rainmaker game, but they are running back the sets. Early super jump out from one of Honorbound's members right there, went for a poke and then realized, oh, that's the entire enemy team. Let's get out of here. Already a crab on the side of Honorbound. They're just trying to get some paint area, disperse the team. Are able to get the kill right there on Miku. That's 3 down right now. A cooler coming out. They need to get in there quickly. They have enough clamps to get a super. They just need to properly disperse them amongst each other. Warrior here with 6. I believe that was meant for Warrior, but unfortunately went to the teammate up there. Their super clam carrier is down though, and with that little bit of hesitation, this is going to allow Future Tone to get back in there. Warrior goes down right there as Ivy scores, just doing their best to get some paint on the ground here.
Unfortunate for Honorbound, again, 18 clams in their hands, but not able to get any picks after the initial push-up to really get that opportunity. And speaking of opportunities, Ivysaur with a double on this power clam goes in the basket. First points of the game. Double power clam already down to 51. Make it 48 just for good measure. This push, they're out of clams now, but still in position. They have to make a decision now. Do they go back for clams? Do they try to stay pushed up? And that decision has been made for them as they go 2 down.
Yeah, very much so. Honorbound quick, though losing the lead here and having a pretty sizable deficit to make up. You know, 55 clams is nothing to it's not. It's a lot of points to try to get back here. Ribbon able to dodge those 10 missiles. I thought we were going to see them unfortunately get splattered right there by a bit of misplaced movement. But you know, these teams are better than that. I will say something that is a bit hard. It's a bit harder on this map to retreat and grab clams just because of how long this little inland stretch is. Unless you have somebody drop off the side and try to throw clams up from the center, you're not really going to be able to get more clams in. We're seeing Warrior right here just doing a pick. We got a lot of eco on the side of Honorbound right here. Those strikes are going to keep them back for a bit. The Warrior placing down a cooler, so they just have a bit of a lifeline as well as some extra mobility. But Future Tone is pushing them back out right now.
Yeah, Future Tone trying to keep Honorbound away. Again, I mentioned this at the beginning of the game. They had that good initial push, and now they can just stall this out for 2.5 minutes. That is how a lot of Clan Blitz games end up going, just by the nature of the mode. But Warrior fully aware that Miku's in the trying to push them away. They do get the jump out. Now opting to try to poke back the rest of the team. Still able to find a pick and gets picked off themselves. Future Tone are just, they're trying to make sure that they don't get too many players down in order to get pushed out. So they're trying to keep this numbers, you know, the numbers on both sides relatively similar. Nathan walking forward, I think lagging back a little bit there. Hopefully we don't see another DC from the side of Honorbound. Looking to try to get a clam in, forcing the issue, does break, but dies in the process, losing the number advantage Honorbound has. They have more clams, but they need to get forward if they want to make this push longer.
One clam does go in as well, but even with the extra time that with the basket being down, Ribbon and the rest of Future Tone is able to just pick off the remaining members of Honorbound, giving them 77 points with an 11-point deficit. This game could still go very much either way, but I do not know how. Like you said, this is an immovable object right here on the side of Honorbound. Though with that Zuka double kill, this might be the moment that they need. They have enough eco to try to get this push, and they just need to allow Halo just needs to buy enough time. Unfortunately, goes down to the slosher right there. Got a bit tripped up on the movement of the thing. Ribbon places down a cooler as they try to just hold this area. This is it. We're going to see 10 missiles coming out here in a moment from Nathan, who's holding that Super Clam. Future Tone needs to do something to try to get Honorbound out of there.
Look at Honorbound's number, 28 clams effectively in their inventory. They just need to find a way in. The bubble from Duke Loose is going to buy some space. Warriors trying to just skirmish and just try to get rid of somebody. The basket does break, but once again, Nathan going down in the process. So does Halo, make that pie man, and Warrior, the last one alive, has to jump out and respect the numbers because he has 6 clams. He just needs to grab 2 and make a power clam to get the overtime running. Right now, if you look at the scores, that penalty makes it 78. I'm going to do some quick math here. So that's 33 points for a tie. So 34 points for a lead if you are Honorbound.
That's a super clam and 5 clams, and right now with 2 down, Warrior and the rest of Honorbound are trying to do that. They're being patient right here, not letting themselves go down to that bomb or that blaster that pushed up. Warrior is a bit pinched right here. Unfortunately, goes down, but overtime is going to be up as long as that Super Clam is in. Miku pushing up here to make sure Honorbound cannot grab that Super Clam, and I think it's going to break. They picked it up again. Unfortunately, going down, and it falls down on next to the box. That is unfortunate, and I think that is going to be the end. 3 down on the side of Honorbound and a little dance, and that'll seal the game. 2-0 to Future Tone. What a great last set here in round 3.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you're a fan of Honorbound, just not enough pressure in that last bit. They had the power clams, they had the economy in general, but Future Tone able to just prove that they were an unstoppable or an immovable object and just prevent Honorbound from getting in, breaking that basket, and getting that clutch overtime. This is one of those sets where game 2 was very unfortunate. You know, it very well could have gone to Future Tone because of that huge opening push, and they have a strong defense, but you would have liked to see it played all the way through. But Honorbound, but yet, this is their first loss of the day, and it wasn't a sweep. This is still easy alpha bracket potential. We have seen Honorbound get alpha bracket after alpha bracket. You know, 5-1, 4-2, they can still make it. So both of these teams looking to continue their runs and really push for the top once again in low ink like they always do. But that being said, Future Tone do take the set.
I mean, hey, that was some great clan blitz work right there, and just a wonderful defense on the side of Future Tone. They didn't panic, even when they their basket did get opened up during Honorbound's two like big pushes near the middle of the game. They didn't panic. They were quick to regroup and just try to do their best to just spread out damage, poke each member of Honorbound, and then pick them off one by one and force them to retreat. I did very much like the play at the end that you called out, made by Warrior, I believe, from Honorbound, who had 6 clams and had an opportunity to maybe like hold on to the basket timer by getting a few of those in, but it wouldn't have been enough to secure a lead, so he jumped out to just quickly hold on and try to buy some more time, but it wasn't enough, unfortunately.
So that being said, that is the end of our commentary block. Me and Jack are going to be getting booted off stage in order to bring in another set of commentators for the last half of day 1 of Low Ink, July 2025. And 3 more games today. They will determine who goes to Alpha Bracket, who will be your top teams on stream tomorrow, and ultimately get that coveted Low Ink ban. Now, before we go, going to quickly shout ourselves out. Jolteon Jack, please let the viewers know where they can find more of you on the...
I unfortunately can't see too much of me. I'm trying to make my name in the scene. I do have a Twitter at JolteonJack22. You won't see really too much of me yet, but that will hopefully be changing too. I'm an aspiring voice actor and competitive Splatoon player, so we'll see how that goes. How about you, Hammy, my good friend? I believe you have a few places that we can find you at.
Yeah, but you can basically find me everywhere on the internet at Hammy in the Wall. Most actively and most importantly, you can find me on Blue Sky at hitw.inc, or just head straight to that URL. It'll bring you right there. And yeah, I mean, you can find me basically everywhere. I commentate. I run my own podcast, Critical Inking. Frequent guest on, or I've been on the Popcast and other places in like Beep a whole lot too. There's a plenty of content of me rambling about Splatoon if you love to listen to my voice. I say that as if my voice isn't shot from being at GOMO last weekend. I'm still recovering. So yeah, you can find me basically everywhere. Hammy in the Wall. You know how it is. Thank you all for watching. Again, don't go anywhere. 2 new commentators, 3 more sets of day 1 of Low Ink. You're not going to want to miss it. So go grab a snack, but come back pretty quick because there's more Splatoon action on the way. We'll see you guys later.
Well, it's half the day done here on day one, but there is still some more incredible Splatoon action for Low Ink in July. I am Soavdan. I'm here with Quilliam. And Quill, we've got our yet another match going into round 4 here. We've got the Land Crabs, and I'm not going to pronounce that name because I'm American, but that very long name is our opposing team.
I recognize the land crabs. They've been in low level for a moment. I know they're around a D6 to 5 level, I want to say. Meanwhile, I can't pronounce that.
Yeah, no.
They look like maybe a pickup potentially. I'm not fully sure with the icon and the long team name, but you know, never doubt pickups when it comes to low ink because people can just come out of nowhere and just take the prize from the favorites, you know. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this match.
Yeah, it should be good. It is a reminder, in case you're coming in late or this is your first Low Ink somehow. This is a play all 3, so we will see all 3 of ours. We got we're going to kick it off on Splat Zones and Ramen, move over to Tower Control, Hagglefish, and Rainmaker with everybody's least favorite map in the entirety of this game, Undertow.
Oh boy. I mean, Splat Zones Robo, very good opening map because I feel like I know Haggle is like the staple map when it comes to zones and everything. But I feel like if there was a second place, it'd be Robo. Absolutely. Lots of wide open space, really good use for specials like Crab and Zuka. So I'm really looking to see how both teams utilize their specials here because there's some good positioning choices you can make.
Yeah, fortunately, we'll have to wait to game 2 for Hagglefish, but Spot Zone's on Ramen. Like you said, Hagglefish is probably the number 1, but Ramen's really come up in popularity in regards to a lot of players' favorite, particularly like the verticality of it. And like you said, there's a lot of different angles to play. So what are you expecting to see out of this as we load in?
I'm planning to see at least one tri-strike from each team because, you know, when you have the lead and the enemy has a tower, GG strikes. We got to see that. It's not a tower control game without GG strikes, you know?
Yeah. Let's get into that zones right away here. We're going to jump on in with both of our teams. Game 1 here in this match 4. Let's see what teams are bringing in.
Oh yeah, we see that Dread Ringer on the side of long team name. And that's really good. Slider cheese is always going to be good on zones, especially with how wide the map is. I'm pretty sure it can cap if you have enough special power. And we do see a main of special power from Void. Meanwhile, we see the ballpoint splatling, which I haven't seen that in a while. What do you think about that?
Ballpoint's always been one of those ones that it still has its moments. You really do need a sharpshooter in the back. The initial zone control going on over to the way of the Land Crabs here, and they're going to push up to get that quick perspective. It looks like they've got a pretty good hold on this tri-strike. You were looking for those are ready, and yeah, I mean, I think Ballpoint still has a lot of good on this range.
Yes, I agree. They're all pushed up into the elbow, but their Dread Ringer does go down. What matters is if they have the cooler, but they did not. So we see the members of Team A pushing up slowly, trying to get into the elbow, but that jet just strikes them all down, leaving only the Zipcaster alive. That's really hard, but they're sharking on the side there, so maybe they could get a sneaky pick on Jenny as we see the 1v1. And yes, they do, popping the Zipcaster to try and get some distractions to get their team into the zone, and we see it works.
It gets 2 for that value, still going in, eventually gets punished for it. The Land Crabs are still there. They're going to pop their cooler now and re-aggress into it. Wendigo just trying to keep the paint down, try to get control back before it gets too far. Finally flips it back their way. And there's another jet popping up. You can see that scheme as Mora just going to scatter out of the way. 2 on the high ground, no shots. Not as successful as the first run, but a decent shot from Wendigo. They get control back at 26 to 86.
Yes, we just see them holding that elbow area on the side of Asmora's spawn because this is such a powerful position to hold because the members of Asmora, they're just going to be feeding into the elbow. So we see the Splash and the Stamper win that 2v1 there, trying to get in, but the rest of their teammates just aren't quite there yet. But they have a Reef Slider on the ready, and that's probably going to be a zone cap as the Crab helps out, but in a really weird spot as they're forced to turn to a ball and just run to the side. And then the zone control goes back to the Land Crab.
A little bit of an aggressive play, but Jenny is looking for revenge, finds Kimmy over there. And with Land Crabs back in control, a little under 3 minutes, they're going to throw in those specials. Jet's there. Slosher down, though, and Jenny's looking in, backed up by that aerial support. They're going to take this. They want to close this out here. Kim is trying to get in and trying to get any sort of position, chasing around, but Jenny has to dodge and avoid that pencil in the back. 2v1 is there. They're going to get punished for it, but the clock's still ticking. 18 and not a single bit of space for Asmora.
Yes, we see Jenny did a really good play. Even though they were super far up, they were able to just hold the members of Asmora right in their base, and that gave them enough time to cap and win the first game of our Swiss round 4. That was really good play from Landcrab, showing how Ballpoint, despite falling out in recent months, still is a really good weapon. And if you're able to hit those jet shots,
Yeah.
you're able to really put in the work.
What's the thing about like the jet, right? Like that's the thing about those kinds of specials. They really do require a little bit of a higher level of skill, right? So I think that really does speak to your backline there, because it's very easy to sit back and play, you know, Splatling build for cooler. But it's another thing to just say, look, I'm still playing Ballpoint. I'm going to get in the fray, and I'm going to make sure I get picks too.
Yes, and I wonder if we'll see the Ballpoint again on Hagglefish. I'm not quite sure if Ballpoint is as good on tower control. I'm not quite familiar with that, but I also predict that the pencil from Asmore is going to stay, because that's just a staple for tower control and basically the entire game. But heavy edit, I wouldn't be surprised to see if Landcrab switched to the heavy edit instead for a cooler option, because it's very good on TC, it's very mobile, and I think that, I mean, if you play Ballpoint, you probably play edit.
I have to imagine so, especially like you said, it is going to be tower control. So controlling all this space on Hagglefish Market is going to be so big. We are in the second of 3, so we will see Undertow for all those people that maybe were hoping we could avoid it. Sorry, but yeah, I think your call on the edit was like the right pick. But what else are we expecting to see here? Because like you said, this is a very like long map. Those kind of backlines can get a lot of success. But what about like our frontline slayers?
Frontline, I expect Jenny to stay on the spotter shot T-Tech, because it has the GG strikes. If they can't knock out, which is pretty hard to knock out on this map, if they just maintain the lead and in the last 5 seconds you just pop strikes and you have the game, I expect maybe to see that the new mini that came out with the last update with the beacons. I feel like beacons really are nice here. And the amount of Zuka output you're able to put onto, say, the glass or the tent, just really valuable, and you're able to get a lot of picks that you wouldn't be able to with shot, maybe due to the extra range you get.
It's entirely possible. It's worth noting that both of these teams are sitting at 2 and 3, so one singular loss trying to break into that alpha bracket. So, you know, like you said, maybe the kind of changes keep bringing in some of those newer weapons, and maybe catching teams off guard is the way to kind of get every map to help yourself climb up there.
Yeah, so I'm really interested to see what they're going to bring. I wonder if the Dreadringer is going to stay, because both teams did have a Dreadringer, but I don't know if maybe they have one tricks or if maybe that was just a one-time thing for zones. And I mean, I think both are okay, but maybe another team will bring out, say, the Vanilla Bucket, because that also has the strikes, and Bucket's pretty good on this map.
As I say, considering the verticality of it, we'll have to see what the load-ins look like. Tower control here going in for game 2 of our round 4. Let's see what these teams bringing in. Well, you're not quite there. They are going to keep the Ballpoint though, so looking pretty right there.
All right, yes, we see no change from the side of Landcrabs, but a grand total of 3 weapon changes from Asmora. We see the new Stamper, the new Dualies, and the new Dreadringer. All we see for as old as the pencil. It's all, I forget what brand that is, but you know, they're repping that ZF, I think, I'm not sure.
I think so, maybe. I don't remember, but it's been a staple. But speaking of staples of this big, long map are getting there. Someone finally goes aggressive. Landcrabs trade out 1 for 1, but specials are starting to come down, and Void finally going to grab that cooler and look to push in. A couple of bombs pushing through. Slosher trying to get 1 and trade out, no. So triple tri-strike comes through for the Landcrabs, and that's enough to finally get a little bit of presence, but Tower unmoving for now.
Yeah, while Tower is unmoving, I see that Void has the Crab. I feel like the Crab is a better pick on this map, because you just have so much more oppressive powers. But I would say, if the bomb didn't come from behind, Jenny with really good positioning, able to just shark and surprise, putting them down to only 1 player in the bubble with the Reef Slider coming out, things are not going as planned for Asmora, despite getting the initial lead.
I mean, that was a decent push, but like you said, you got to make sure you win your duels there. So first couple specials come out. Booyah Bomb to the cart. Doesn't catch anybody, but buys a little bit of space. Inkjet is out flying around, and no value to come in. First trades come through now for the Landcrabs. Jenny catches the 1 out in the back line, and that's going to be enough for now. Triple Ink Strike in. So catches more. Chemist down, falls into that, and they see the last of the members, so the Landcrabs will get it moving and take the lead.
Yes, they did all their specials just to get that lead, but they still have that first checkpoint to get in. The the Reef Slider comes out as one of the members of Asmora rushes the tower, only to get killed by Wingo's Inkjet. However, both teams are in a weird position. We have 2 down land crabs, 3 down on the side of Asmora, but they managed to break through that checkpoint, rushing towards the second checkpoint. It seems like it's an even battle here as they're trying to get their way onto tower to get the check, but no, they lose tower as members on the land crabs start to go down, and so do the members of Asmora.
Yeah, it's a back and forth here with 3 minutes left, but land crabs aren't giving up position. Void's going to send in the crab now and just try to keep some pressure onto the cart. Does allow the cart to start moving back to center, but it looks like they don't have the positional. Has to try to force back their counterpart in the bucket down the alleyway there. And well, cart moving back to center. I hear a Booyah Bomb coming in there in that bubble, but it seems like just so much. Oh, manages to avoid that Reef Slider, but no value found. All these specials getting thrown out. Everything is in it, and it's Wendigo who comes out on top to find any sort of pick value from that.
Despite all those specials being up, land crabs got put into disadvantage as they know they are wiped out by Asmora as you're able to take the tower. This might be a huge play. You're halfway through the game. Getting through that second check is really important. Once you're through that second check, at this stage in the game, you're sitting pretty, right? And right now, land crabs have to scramble to try and stay alive, but constantly having their backline go down isn't doing them any favors as they break through the first check with the cooler coming out.
Cooler's out, but there's so much high ground in their way. They get stalled out for the second point. There's the triple strike. It does take the tower, but the damage just stopped in time there as Mora is just behind on the lead. So land crabs playing a little bit more defensive, popping cooler, try to win the 2v1. They trade out for it, and their reinforcements are back in. Kivis just goes right back to spawn where they found, and land crabs going to turn this back with 1:40 left.
Yes, the member of land crabs just managed to stop the bleeding at the final second. 1 point separating these two teams as we see land crabs going on the offensive. They absolutely shouldn't get comfortable with the lead that they have right now. 1 point, basically nothing on this map. You got to make sure that you're keeping up the aggression, trying to get more points, but the members of Asmora are just coming back with their own response as you see a little bit of sharking from both of them as we see a whole massacre on the side of Asmora.
Oh, Asmora just managing to pick several Yang, trying to just recoup any losses, and it looks like the land crabs did manage to stabilize for now. They get control of the cart, push it back. They have the lead here with 1 minute left, and they just need to make sure they can kind of hold it. Aggressive position now from the Yang to try to push onto those higher front lines, but the Pencil's got the zones. Reef Slider in, tries to catch one, does. It finds Deca, and Yang is now deep in the position to kind of create the distraction and get the cart moving a little bit. 40 seconds, Booyah Bomb coming in just to try to distract a little more, trying to maybe get a little predictive. No, they're just going to clear the cart and get it. 42 seconds means this is coming down to that last push.
Yes, however, the players of land crabs have still not yet broken through that second checkpoint, meaning it's basically anyone's game still as we see the members of Asmora. 3 on the field from both sides. It's very even as we see members of Asmora pushing up into mid. Tower still moving through on the side of Asmora, but we see it moving into center as it's really just the final stretch for both these teams. Land crabs is going to have to play good defense, and Asmora is going to have to keep things together on the offense. They can't let those specials get popped and get value.
No, they can't, especially with overtime right away. Yang goes in for the push. No, does not get it, and that'll force Booyah Bomb out, though, so that is something. It clears the mid, and finally, Asmora will get control of the cart. 3 seconds means overtime is going to trigger here, and this is going to be their last chance. They have to stay at it. Bubbles on point. Chemist manages to survive the onslaught of bombs. There's the triple strike, so it's as good as over. No, they can't get back in time, and land crabs steal it away.
Yeah, so we see how incredible triple strikes is just to finish off games. Even if you don't have lead at the end and you see that T-Tech has tri-strikes, yeah, it's either kill the T-Tech and hope they don't have cooler, or just pray. It's all you can really do.
Hope.
The land crabs did a really good job playing around their specials. I feel like Pop having that Booyah forced, managing to force that Booyah in the last 10 seconds when it could have been used to push further was a really good play. I feel like that was a lot. That was just a good play. Just making them misfire that Booyah. Because clearing out mid that didn't have that many people in it, very good, very good, very good work.
Yeah, like that's what you want to do, right? You want to force out those errors. You want to force your opponents to make those mistakes and give yourself advantages. So yeah, well done from the land crabs. Moving now in towards and looking for a perfect 3-0 as we move to Rainmaker and Undertow Spillway. And I mean, this just feels to me like every competitive player's like least favorite everything. This feels like the most easiest avoid for most players.
Yeah, Undertow Spillway, I mean, this map did get a remake, and I think it was kind of debatable on whether or not it was better or worse than the old one, because they made that whole area inkable, and made it so you didn't have to go on the grates. I don't think we'll see any team changes from the sides of land crabs, because, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Their team comps work.
Exactly. Yeah,
What do you think?
I do think. I'd say I think the thing for Asmora though is, you know, they have shown that they're trying to be flexible, and like the ideas are always good, but I think for something like Undertow where, you know, there's two very distinct paths, you kind of have to just have to go into what you're comfortable with and worry about playing the map, I think, because this is one of those places where it's very easy to get kind of jogged up in the map once you clear that first checkpoint, where you kind of can get it stuck in a corner and never really get it pulled out. So I think let's just get to whatever is comfortable, wherever we feel the best, because this is going to be definitely one of those modes where, like, you're not just going to win duels and win the game that way.
Yeah, it's very much you blink and you miss it. You can knock out pretty fast on this map. And I will say, even though Landcrabs won the set, that 2-1 can do a huge difference when you're going into like tiebreakers, right? If you went 1-2 over 3-0, that's huge, right? You just sometimes you just need an extra game win to get into a higher bracket.
Oh yeah, every single literal map will matter here. So that's, like you said, like it's just so important. And you know, nothing better than making a statement of a clean 3-0 and a clean knockout with that. So we'll see if the Landcrabs can continue all the way through to the end here in round 4. And I mean, like you said, I don't know. Like I'm not sold that Asmora's looked very good. Like Asmora doesn't definitely like, it's the 2-0, but Asmora's looked very good. These have been very close rounds, it feels like.
Yeah, I feel like, especially on tower control, like nobody broke through that second checkpoint. Asmora, if they just played like, it was a question of like 1 or 2 misplays, and that game could have looked entirely different. And as long as Asmora plays tight and keeps themselves together, I think they could easily just make a win here and put a dent in the armor of the Landcrabs.
Well, let's see what that armor has left here. A couple of new weapons, including that new Gallon coming in. So there is going to be your, well, there's our cooler for the round on the side of Asmora.
I have never seen that gal being used, so I'm interested to see how it will go as we see the Landcrabs get that opening pop. I wonder why they went to the ballpoint, as I haven't seen them use. That person's been on cooler basically most of the time, to my knowledge, and I think it's interesting. Yeah. Maybe they're trying to use the weapons that the Landcrabs have against them, but I don't know if that's going to work. Yeah, as we see Landcrabs beelining for that first checkpoint.
Yeah, and they'll slam it down. This is the area I was talking about, right? Like when the team gets kind of set and they get into that corner, it's very hard to dislodge it. Wendigo's going to push aggressively. There's the Reef Slider creating that beautiful path in. No, the slam is denied though. Jenny gets pretty deep in. 10 is the magic number, and Asmoranomardicadaistinaculdacar will continue to take that space back.
Yes, however, they're doing a really good job of pushing out the members of Landcrabs, making sure there's no little sharkers. Jenny's been sharking and coming up from the side a lot. And they really don't want to have to deal with that T-Tech just coming from behind and spooking them. However, that jet pop is a little bit early, I'd say, as they do get the pop, and they do get a pick on the end zap, which might be huge, because that denies them the cooler, as cooler comes out for them.
Triple Strike's going to try to shut that down, though. Doesn't get anybody. It does get the dome out, though, so the bubble's there. And Yang caught out of position trying to win that duel. It's a 2v1 now as Void has to try to give up that space. But the ground they were holding for so long is just gone, and Yang is there to lead the way back. Sliders gets thrown in, trying to get that final pick, does manage to get it, and Landcrabs are pushing back with a vengeance. Yang just trying to go ahead, play that low ground, and get anything in, but, I mean, at this point, Landcrabs are just in such a good position, they don't even need to try to go forward here. Booyah Bomb sent in now as well, and it's just specials everywhere. Both jets out now, dueling in the sky. The first pick goes the way of Asmora. That's 2 down, evens it out, and at 3 minutes here, I mean, it's back to 0.
Yes, we're back to 0. So only 1 member of Asmora alive. Getting a pick that might be huge to try and help stabilize their team. They just try to paint up mid. The cooler is ready. We're seeing a lot of good coolers from the side of Asmora, as they've just been able to kind of stay alive, get those coolers, which I think is great. But we do see them just struggling to move up in the mid. They have to make some aggressive plays to go and get themselves going, you know? As we see just a skirmish on the left side as they go down. As members of Landcrab start to move in through that right side now. We see the Reef Slider is out and ready, and denied absolutely by the opposing Dreadringer.
Yeah, beautifully done there. Picks coming through on both sides. Kim is going to have to get out of the way and just decide, look, it's a lost fight. Let's not take that duel. I mean, it's still at mid. Wendigo just going to go ahead and keep pressuring, just denying the ability to go and move that. 2 minutes 20 here. And, I mean, now finally Asmora will try to get it in. No, that is a jet denied. Kim is going to go just dive their way through right into that. Oh, struggled to get up onto the pillar and did not able to slam it. They'll get stopped there. And what a great stop for the Landcrabs.
It was a very impressive dash through the tri-strikes. Very good work from Asmora there. But they just narrowly missed the checkpoint, and we're over halfway through the game, and it's like they just have to get some. They get through that because they get through that checkpoint, then they can finally start going. Okay, we have a way in. But right now they're just struggling to get there. But they get 2. Oh my goodness, the restarter gets 2. That's 3.
The restarter gets 2 and 3 for Asmora, and 3 of Asmora down. So Landcrabs again just fine to hold it here. Bubbles back at center, and again Yang's just policing this front line here with that bucket, just making sure no one get it, making a clear path ahead. 1 minute 30 here as the specials are coming back in, and I mean you'll start to see the skirmishes in. There's Wendigo in the air again. Void just going to get out of dodge, try to get themselves to position to maybe get that pick. There's that beautiful pick from Void, looking for one more. Now up Asmora, gonna try to push and win out, making those 2v1s there. No, there's the trade out against Bubble as well, and Yang is still lives. Sends the reef slider, doesn't get it out. Trade back again, and it is just specials everywhere here, Quill.
He just said, nah, I'm gonna just know you. They just know you back. Reef slider, fight reef slider. And we see the cooler is up for both sides. Strikes come out. We see Commission making a beeline to the right side again, but their team isn't with them as they're pushed back by members of Landcrabs. This is a tight situation for the members of Asmora as they're just struggling to get in. However, the reef slider comes out too, not getting any picks, but they miss. No, the splatling just narrowly prevents them from getting the check. It's just Void alive with 30 seconds on the clock.
Void's gonna get out. I mean, Landcrabs are at a last push here. They'll get a pop. They don't need to go far. They've already got control. They have points at 10 to 65 here, so just holding the ground, looking for anybody who might be hiding. Wendigo moving up to the high ground now. It's Cooler is out for the side of Landcrabs. Slider in to try to punish anybody going for it. Does not get anybody, and I mean, Landcrabs are just going to hold this out for the last second here. They know they don't need to go anywhere. Asmora has to get the pop. 10 seconds to go here, and there's the pop, so they'll pick it up and they'll push the overtime.
Yes, they do have overtime. However, the Jet is out with the members of Landcrabs in an advantageous position. The cooler does go down, however, this might have some consequences. Really well-placed bubble to try and keep the Rainmaker safe from the opposing Inkjet. However, members of Asmora, they just keep going. They keep getting those trades. 1 down, 2 down. There's only 2 members left of Asmora. Jennifer starts crashing in on the Rainmaker. Is this going to be it for the members of Asmora? As the Rainmaker is just trying to stay alive. As Marlo but no, they're still alive. They're still going to crash and keep going. The dream for Asmora is still alive. As we're halfway through overtime, as they're just trying to get a way in with Wendigo just staring them down. That will be it.
Oh, it looks so promising. I was gonna say if they get the slam, I was gonna reward the patient play for Asmora, but unfortunately just could not push and swing back. So Landcrabs will take the showing 3-0 for the round 4. An impressive set though from both of these squads, genuinely.
Yes, very impressive. I really like Wendigo's positioning on that final stretch, just staying up on the grades. Members of Asmora just could not properly hit them. That just allowed them to be so oppressive. Just keep free-firing where the Rainmaker was going to go, and that ultimately helped them secure victory here. I just think there was a really good positioning from both teams. Very close and really good fight put up by Asmora in this set. And, you know, there's always a chance for them to get some more wins as we're only about halfway through, a little over halfway, maybe 2/3 through this tournament.
Yeah, as I say, that does end round 4. So we're going to let the rest of the round finish up and take a quick break. We'll be right back in a minute for round 5 here of Low Ink in July. Well, half of the day has come and gone, and into round 5 we go. I am still up here with Quill, and we've got our round 5 match here. We've got Heck Yeah, sorry, I guess I can swear on the stream, but versus 9 Lives All Anxiety. 9 Lives coming into this with the perfect 4-0 right now, so nearing that top of perfection and looking to kind of ace their way into that alpha bracket. But this could be a good match all around.
Yeah, as we see, 9 Lives All Anxiety is right now trying to just vie into that alpha bracket, wanting to get a good seed going into day 2. Meanwhile, Heck Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Maybe they'll cause an upset here. You always got to look out for the underdogs on low ink because there's a history of massive upsets we've seen throughout our time here. So I feel like this is going to be interesting. Maybe we'll see absolute dominance. Maybe we'll see a nice back and forth. I mean, it's all a surprise here.
Yeah, it is, but what isn't a surprise is we've got 3 maps coming in. It will be Splat Zones to kick us off on Umami Ruins. Crime Blitz will be Barnacle and Dime, and we'll finish off with Tower Control at Mako Mart. And, well, game 1 is going to be Splat Zones on Umami, and it's funny, we were talking about this a little off screen about how, you know, like, where do you really position, how do you play support, and I think Umami Ruins is kind of one of those good textbook zone maps for a lot of these teams.
Yes, I agree. It's like you got 2 types of zone maps. You got the single zone, the double zone. This is your textbook double zone map. It's nice. It's really good. And so it's a little different positioning because maybe sometimes you want to be on the top of the block, maybe you want to be on the sides, and it'll be nice to see how the teams navigate around this slightly more advanced map slightly, if that makes sense, because it's slightly harder to position here than on just single zone maps like Mahi and stuff like that. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it's worth noting as we head on in. It's not been an easy run for undefeated 9 lives here, but loading in some new things and some unexpected things. Okay, that's an E leader. Okay, I wasn't expecting that one.
No, my teammates frothing at the mouth right now at that side of the E leader as we see the return of that Crab Dread and also the Stamper. We got double Booyah from the side of 9 Lives All Anxiety, as well as just simple Crab, Booyah, and Bubble, as we see 9 Lives All Anxiety take the early lead, however losing a member in the process as the Crab goes out from Heck Yeah.
That's a fast Crab too, as you say. I mean, they got it, but they'll push off the last of it. 9 Lives did get the initial capture, 81, but still into the neutral it goes. 9 Lives gets control back, no penalty on it, so they're in a good position. Now Cosmo up on the high block here, just trying to hold this down. Thomas going and gets 2 for 1 though. That is a huge trade out. And hell yeah, they lose another one, but they're going to have to try to take this back and stall it out. 68 is the number as we split the zone. No, Ginger gets taken out there, and Aster, again, it's just trades back and forth for both of these teams.
Yes, we see them, they're fighting very dirty in mid. However, Heck Yeah is just not quite able to secure the zone as another Crab comes out as they continue to struggle. One member of 9 Lives goes down. Aster just holding up top. But the Booyah comes out. This might be what they need to take zone. Is the pencil. That's a wipeout on the side of 9 Lives. Now the members of Heck Yeah are just able to move up into their elbow and hopefully keep up the pressure.
Yeah, this is that very crucial choke point. They'll even drop the bubble there just to try to keep them, the rest of 9 Lives to get in. And I mean, 9 Lives, they're undefeated, but they have had to fight for every single one. They'll give up the Crab to get the space now, and Aurora just trying to get up. No gets punished holding that Booyah bomb, and the lead goes the way of Heck Yeah. So 60 and counting. It's going to be a jump in from Thomas to try to get back with the team and try to hold out this lead a little bit longer. 3:20 on the clock. 9 Lives going to get out of dodge and around. The cooler was popped, but that's a pick now the way of Thomas, just causing more. There's 2 for it, and this, oh man, this blaster is doing so much work right now.
Thomas has been doing such a good job positioning right under ledges, getting all of these nice picks. They're going for Cosmo, but no, they're taken out as the members of 9 Lives are maybe able to move up and try and reclaim the zone. This is really the only chance they're gonna have because we're counting into the single digits now. They need to get moving and fast. But Ginger comes out and takes out one of their players. Zone keeps flip-flopping back and forth as members of 9 Lives went down. Oh, it's just a battle in mid. Nobody can claim it yet.
No, Lavisa keeping that one side going, and this is the difficulty of that 2-zone map we were kind of talking about. They'll finally get pushed up out of the way, and 9 Lives gets control back, a nice 69-point penalty on the side of Heck Yeah. So, I mean, 9 Lives, there's a long way to go here, 2:20 on the clock, and they'll finally move up to take this choke point.
Yeah, once you take that choke point, you kind of have to wait it out because it's very. I say that, and then they go 2 down with that leader providing really, really good kill power compared to the pencils. We see Cosmos kind of left alone in the zone. No, actually, they have their blast. We see them slowly start to move up.
I mean, they
But
pop
now they're
Cooler. They gave Cooler. Cosmo decided to put Cooler in there. I don't know about that one. Trades for Ginger, though, as the jump-ins come back. And 9 Lives still in control here, moving quickly down to 30 with a little under 2 minutes left. And 9 Lives still in a great position to hold this out. They're going to hold on the mid block as eventually one trade comes through. 9 Lives now down, man down, and they lose control of that zone, of one of the 2 zones. There's 2. There's the penalty up 9-16 now. And heck yeah, they've done everything they needed to do. They're going to drop the bubble, and they're just going to try to hold this choke point once again. Ginger going a little aggressive, getting in the face of Aurora. There's the slash. It's good for that. And looking for more against trading out. There's a second for Ginger. This frontline Slayer is in fact slaying, taking out Aster with him as well.
Yes, we see they go 2 down. Like, Ginger moves back a bit, trying to play it safe, trying to get a pick, but no, not quite. The penalty is slowly ticking down. And right now, we're in such a position where the members of 9 Lives really, really just need to get through their penalty in order to win. Meanwhile, heck yeah, can really just lay it back. They just have to be like, okay, we can just cap zone every couple moments and we'll be fine. We have lead. Because it's just so hard to move in on this map. Because we see the members of Heck Yeah are slowly going down, but maintaining just one side of zone. As they're 3 down, it's just the splash that they jump out. Really good call as zone is flipped again to the side of 9 Lives.
It pushes the penalty back up there, so 55 on either side. 9 Lives going to send in the Booyah Bomb. Trays a 1, forces out that sniper out of the way, and Aurora manages to live for now, but Thomas looking on the flank, tries to get a pick. No, eventually gets caught up by a bomb there. He gets subbed out from the Crab, but up that high ground, just trying to get any sort of value, gets pressured out. 30 seconds now as Crab gets popped from Comet. Gets it, they get control of it back. 9 Lives has to get out of the way. Has to go with the Crab to survive the Booyah Bomb, and control just firmly in the hands of Hell Yeah.
Yeah, they're just playing it so well. They weren't able to even get through their penalty. They're just stuck on the 16 mark as Heck Yeah is just able to hold and keep things going. As we see the Crab is ready on the side of Heck Yeah, the Booyah comes out. Really nice Crab pop, but they're all crashing in. 1 goes down, 2 goes down. There's only 2 members left on the side of 9 Lives. 1 member left. This might be a wipeout for them. And there it is. That's victory.
Yeah.
As good as theirs for Heck Yeah, taking game 1.
Yeah, well played from them. I mean, they looked fairly dominant coming out the gate there, but 9 Lives, you could see how they really kind of fought, tooth and nail for every single step of the way. It was fairly close, and 9 Lives, they come into this undefeated. You can kind of see how they don't necessarily give up from that fight, and it was a very interesting. I would love to say that this is like some pieces you don't normally see in a mode like Splat Zones.
Yeah, the leader was certainly a really nice choice because Pencil has a really good range and there's not much that can contest it except the leader. The leader was able to just keep down the coolers and keep everyone down. Just a really nice survey of the map. And so I think that was a really good pick, and now I have to see how that Pencil's going to change onto Clan Blitz, how they're going to change their positioning in response to that overarching, all-seeing eye that is the E-leader on Heck Yeah.
I think the one thing that is going to make it kind of a difference in the all-seeing eye conversation in Barnacle and Dime, this is kind of like a different, similar map in a lot of ways, right? Like, you are still very wide and long. You still have a lot of space, so I actually don't think the E-leader has to really go anywhere.
Yeah, the E-leader's just able to have such good vision. Obviously, they're going to have to target specials at the E-leader if they really want to try and help give their Pencil some breathing room. And that's an adjustment that 9 Lives is going to have to make, as felt like maybe sometimes they didn't quite pop their specials where they should have. Maybe some minor tweaks have to be made in order to better give the Pencil some space to breathe. But we're gonna all see what that happens, We don't know what they're gonna bring. Maybe are they gonna change it? Are they gonna go the same? Maybe they're just gonna try it again, see if it works this time.
Just run it back, yeah. Just run it back.
Run it back.
But that's the hardest part of getting low ink banned, right? Is just making sure you survive all these weird 1K situations and knowing your foundational things of where you have to push, finding those weak points. So Clan Blitz into Barnacle and Dime is definitely going to be an interesting it's going to be an interesting look for both of these teams as we're waiting for them to load in. I do kind of wonder now, with most of the cheese out of Clan Blitz gone, what 9 Lives All Anxiety has kind of up their sleeves, because this is, it was very clear they were okay to play around the zone, but this is kind of a whole different beast.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe a Reef Slider, because I did see the Crab Dreadringer, so we're gonna see what they have, and we do see the vanilla Dreadringer coming out from one side, and we see Booyah, and just they're all sticking to their guns on the side of Heck Yeah, and that makes total sense. It worked last time, why wouldn't it work this time, right?
Yeah, I agree. It ain't broke, don't fix it. So 9 lives, they are fighting for all 9 of them. They do get to the center first going into this. And like you said, some different looks, but they're going to give up that space play a little bit passively. And they're getting forced back immediately from the side of Heck Yeah. Ginger going deep. Early Cooler is there, but Ginger's just going to play around those angles. Tomas tries to go in and get that on the way there. Bubble drop now for Ginger, and they'll have the positional advantage and a ball, and that is Clam is immediately in. Do they have any follow-up, though?
Ginger just staying alive, really giving their team that opening. 9 lives is now 3 down. It's just the pencil. This is a perfect opening for him to get some points, but now it's just the leader. They're going to try and stay alive, or they're going to retreat. I don't really know. It looks like they're in a bit of a pinch, though, laying down those mines and running back into mid. Really strong opening push, getting it down to 62. Members of 9 lives are going to have to find a good rebuttal as they're still boxed in their base.
Yeah, like you said, that scope is just keeping them in there. That sniper's just got their numbers. And now they're spotted out even further. The mines go off, don't necessarily catch anybody, but 9 lives really can't get that space to push forward. Another power climb has been made on the side of Heck Yeah, but they can't quite go anything with it. Tomas gives up that Booyah Bomb just to live. Does manage to trade out for it, so turning that into a very, very good position. Looking for another one. Thomas is waiting and watching to jump in. This is going to get immediately punished, but Thomas does as well. And 9 lives, they are just back against the wall as it gets broke again.
Yeah, we just see Heck Yeah is just not letting up the pressure. Ginger's doing really aggressive bubbles, allowing their teammates just such good ways to get in as they just continue to skirmish, and they still... I was gonna say they still had numbers, but nope, now they got wiped out. Finally giving the members of 9 lives a chance to breathe, move into mid, because they're probably like, look, you were not even halfway through the game. It's not over till it's over. Anything can happen. And at best, I hope they're keeping their morale high, because it looks like they're about to pull off something great here. Going in, are they going to go in for the score, or are they going to wait it out?
I feel like they need a little bit more time just to kind of get themselves like in that position. They'll get the break though, and that is an opening star, pushes them down to 80, and Cosmo just trying to hold off the crab gets sent in now. And I mean, they've been not paying attention to the basket, but there's no crabs left. They weren't totally set up for this. Cosmo grabs a couple more, but I mean, the push is over. It's going to be 74-26.
Yes, but no, you got on the board. That's all that matters. You got on the board. You got on the board. You're doing all good. So all you have to do now is try and find another way in, as we see mid is up for grabs from both teams, as we see the pencil getting Thomas, and we see all of them clumped up in that corner from Heck Yeah. As they go 2 down, this might just be another way for them to get in and score, as it seems like they're just boxed in their base once again.
Oh, the Booyah Bomb gets denied, especially right after the cooler gets popped for the side of 9 lives. So that is an immediate retreat. Just a well solid defense for Heck Yeah. Beautifully done. Astor's going in trying to get the trades out for Thomas, and that is 1 pick. And I mean, numbers still favor the way, but we are down to under 2 minutes now.
Yeah, so we see the members of 9 lives are just recovering in their base, as it looks like Heck Yeah has the mid. We see they have a pity clam and they have the normal clam right now, and we see the crab pop into mid, hoping to just sneak 1 or 2 picks from the members of 9 lives. As we see, we're even on the field with the blaster just getting picked little by little, trying to get a little bit more space from the members of Heck Yeah, as we still haven't seen many progress on points aside from that one little score. As we see the blaster 1v1 going in a trade.
The trades are coming back and forth, and Ginger's the last one to re-slider and doesn't get the last one, but Ginger manages to get out. But the damage has been done. Those power claims have been stopped and taken there, so at least down to 1 now on the side of Heck Yeah. And then the last minute, oh, what a bucket, what a side shot from the bucket there. 9 lives still. Again, they're just struggling to make that forward progress, but duels are going their way. They get Thomas too, and Conti looking for a third no, eventually gets punished for it, but it's last call here. Last minute is up, and this is still now that this is time for 9 lives. They have to do something.
Yes,
there it is.
9 lives have the numbers, and the members of Heck Yeah are staggered. The basket's open. There's no penalty. It's time for them to make some moves. You see the Booyah comes out. Oh no! Someone camps the jump. Ginger's right there. Members just going down, and they see the lead at 1 point. They take it.
They switch it over in the last second, 23-26, and that's enough to steal the game. This feels like 9 lives here. They are just the Cats living all on that anxiety here. Backus is still open, but there's no clams left. They're just going to punish this and try to punish these players, turning it to 20-26. 9 lives have swung it back.
Yes, the members of 9 lives just keeping it up and always posing as a good reminder that it's not over till it's over, as we see numbers aren't in their advantage, but they still have that mid control. As members of Heck Yeah really have to find a way to get in fast. 2 power clans will steal the game for them, and it's up to the members of 9 Lives to try and pose a good enough defense to prevent the power clan from getting in, as they're already having the numbers advantage in the final overtime stretch.
Yeah, overtime is there. The clan economy also favors 9 Lives, so 9 Lives still sitting good. I say that, but they lose everything. Power claims up for the side of Heck Yeah. And Thomas is trying to play in those flank angles to get something there. Gonna go in Blaster for 1. No, they didn't get there in time. 9 Lives steals games too.
Yes, we see that really it's not over till it's over. They didn't have anything until the middle of the game, and yet all it takes is one clam to push the lead over to your favor, as that was really good ways to punish the members of Heck Yeah when they just overextended, when they got too greedy, maybe when they staggered into you while you were fighting in their base. And I think if they want to take this set, they just have to keep playing anxious but alert, insane. You know, you gotta keep playing confident, keep playing maybe a little anxious, but not too anxious.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if they made it, they're undefeated, so that anxiety of going into day 2 perfectly is definitely on the line, particularly to close out the set here in game 3. There'll be tower control for Mako Martin. I mean, that was a very, very frantic clam blitz, so I have to imagine tower control probably going to be a little bit more of the same.
Oh yeah, this is going to be such a frantic and crazy Mako game, as those checkpoints, especially the second one and the third one, very hard to get through on this map. So I think it's going to be very fun to see how they handle that, you know. I really like Mako as a map, and I wonder to see if there's going to be any change, because I'm not sure if Chargers are very good on this map, because the Pencil and the Leader, those are very unorthodox picks for Mako Martin. Usually Splatlings seem to shine here more than anything.
I was going to say, like, you definitely almost don't need the E-Leader, right? Like, that is way too long of a range. Like, you can almost sit back and play super defensively, but you almost don't need that range. You'd rather have something that plays a little bit more aggressively, right? Like a Splatling.
Yeah, especially the heavy edit Splatling, or maybe if they're feeling, you know, there's an idea we could bring back Tri Nouveau just for this map, because, you know, it's fun. I'm always a big fan of that. If they bring that out, I'll be really happy.
I mean, we can only dream, but it is set point on the line here going into Mako Mart. Let's clean this up in a fun fashion. Let's see what these teams bring in. There is that Pencil. It still stayed on one side. They keep the E-Leader as well, so no changes, it looks like.
Yep, no changes. I mean, both team comps worked last time, as we really only see, I don't know, did they play they played Splash last time.
They played Splash last time.
Alright.
Yeah.
So, now we just see the opening fight for mid. We see paint in favor of 9 Lives. We Aster just trying to poke on Thomas. They know they're there, but they jump out, really trying to stay alive. But they go down on the jump, as it seems like things are just a bloodbath in mid, as it seems like Heck Yeah is going to take the early lead here if they just get on tower.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was a quick early pick, and Levisa now on that point. Just, I mean, you have full range on it, but this is such a tough first checkpoint. Can't survive versus that counter sniper, and Cosmo is there to kind of keep everybody up. 2 down for Heck Yeah. Means they should lose this fight, but they are fighting for control pretty long. Card's going to keep moving. 65 and still going. I mean, Heck Yeah still has control here. We needed 9 lives to get any sort of presence on the tower. They finally do to push it back to mid.
Yes, first minute of the game, and the first minute for the side of Heck Yeah is already cleared, as we see Cooler out, take 1 pick, and they go down. As it's a bloodbath in mid. We see the Pencil going down is huge. That might be really big later, because I don't think the Cooler was out. So this instantly puts a delay on their Cooler, as we see the members of 9 Lives just trying to go and move in, but the numbers aren't quite in their favor. But will they make it through this check? The answer is maybe.
We're gonna see Cosmo manages to tap it and get it past that .1, so a good look from the backliner there, as JSY gonna get eventually traded out and trades back. 3 now down for 9 Lives, and that's basically Heck Yeah, they're back in the position. The 2v1 is there. Ginger drops the dome, but it was maybe a little too late in the puzzle for that.
Yeah, maybe just a little too late, as while both checkpoints are broken, which is good, we see the members of Heck Yeah barreling towards that second checkpoint. However, seems like the members of 9 Lives are trying to move in, but no, they get punished by that crab. That's 2 down, and we see the 2 down on both sides. You know what? Push to 48. Bloodbath on the side of 9 Lives spawn, as we just see everything is just so messy and scrappy, as we see Thomas going down, and the jump is about to get camped.
Ooh, Aster good for 2 there. Has to eventually try to get a little bit more space. Gonna send in the Zipcaster. High ground from Bet gets picked out of the air. What a shot from Lavisa. Wow.
Holy shot. That was an incredible shot from Louisa being like, no, I'm not going to let you use that. But we see the members of Heck Yeah are going down on the defense. Booyah Bomb comes out. This is a perfect setup for 9 Lives to take the lead as we hit the halfway mark of this game. They take the lead here. The members of Heck Yeah are in a brutal stagger as we see them just keep going down as 9 Lives just get these free points. Just sitting pretty, getting through that Jack.
Ginger's got snatched out of the air on that, and 9 Lives just gonna walk it in towards the end. Thomas is it, and it's just staggers from the side of Heck Yeah, and they finally do get a stop at 5, but there's still members of 9 Lives around. They just have to get it across the finish line. They do not though, but 5 is just as good as finishing.
9 Lives is in the perfect position here, sitting pretty with only 2 minutes remaining. I would feel comfy because you're not through just 1 checkpoint, but 2. You're in a really nice position, but you can't get too complacent. If you see Ginger moving up, popping the bubble, getting a pick as the members of 9 Lives are slowly being pushed back into spawn, but no, Ginger being punished for overextension as we see Heck Yeah approaching that second check.
It's still a minute 20, and
There's still a minute and 20 left in the game as we see the members of Heck Yeah are trying their best to push through, but the members of 9 Lives are proving to put up a vicious fight with the Stamper behind them. Very, very, very tight here as we see 2 down on the side of Heck Yeah, 1 on the side of 9 Lives. We see they do get through that check. It's a brutal cat fight on the tower. Jumps coming in. Is it going to be worth it though as we see 1 minute remaining? This is intense and we see the leader moving back. It's just the leader alive actually. Now we see the crowd being popped. The members are slowly collapsing on the members of Heck Yeah as they just maintain their lead narrowly.
They're gonna hold it for now, but I mean, with the tower back now at center, 9 Lives just have to play defensively. They're just gonna try to hold this out. Aurora gets caught out in the 2v1, gets punished for that, and I mean that's still fine. 9 Lives still have all the time in the world. They just need to get a stop. They're playing. It looks like they're gonna play the long game here.
Absolutely. They still have that final check being the safeguard to their victory as members of Heck Yeah are scrambling to find something with Thomas. Just entering a 1v1 with Aster, who is going to win. It looks like the S-Blast members are both 3 down, 2 down on the side of Heck Yeah. Thomas is just struggling on the tower. 6 seconds remain. The Booyah coming out, trying to find a way in. Crab is in response. This looks like it might go into overtime, but for how long? Who knows? We see the Stamper on the tower, and that's going to 9 Lives.
9 Lives. I mean, they are using all 9 of those lives. They steal the set 2-1 in a very, very close round 5. They maintained their undefeated streak here, but it was definitely not an easy run for them.
Oh, absolutely. The members of Heck Yeah put up a massive fight. These games went to the wire. There was no time to breathe for either team. Really a really good showing for these 2 teams, and I would definitely look out for them at day 2 because I'm pretty sure these guys are gonna be at least in beta.
I mean, they're the number 3 seed. They surely go on. Like, I know a seeding doesn't necessarily mean anything, but like this performance, they have to clear at least the bottom of Alpha, right? Like, they have to.
Surely.
I mean, well, an incredible game 5 set from both of these teams. We've got one more for the rest of the day here, so we're gonna take a quick break, get that last round coming. Hang tight, we'll be back in a minute. Well, this is it, the final round of day one. It has been a long day of low ink, but we've got a nice on the bubble match here. Two teams trying to vie their way into the A bracket. Still Soap here with Quill, and we've got the Appreciation Collective coming up against the Star Guardians of Chaos for our final round of the day.
Yeah, these are two established low-level teams. I've seen them around. I know during the Ludi season, I know Star Guardians played. And I love their little icon. It has Kirby on it. It's so cute. But we can't ignore the Appreciation Collective. I've seen those names around before. They're full of appreciation for their opponents, but they're also not full of mercy because they're going to bring their best performance today to this round 6 game.
Yeah, I was going to say, looking quickly back at their record, Appreciation Collective has been either full 3-0s or 0-3s, so they are either dominant or just off their marker. But for our last 3 of the day, we've got Zones on Hagglefish, we've got Rainmaker on Crab Leg Capital, and we've got Clam Blitz over in the Gorge. So this is a pretty good variety of a final round maps, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we got the vanilla Splat Zones map, we got Old Reliable, and then we got something a little more divisive, the Rainmaker Crab Leg, and then something also a little bit odd, the Scorchforge Clam Blitz. You don't see those two as much as other maps for those modes, but they're absolutely ones we play, and I think that they both have merit.
Yeah, after all, that's what this is about, getting out of low ink, right, is being able to play around the flexible mode maps and all the different variables that come in from the game. But speaking of game, let's jump right on in. We've got Appreciation Collective versus Star Guardians of Chaos coming in, and it looks like some things we've seen all day today. Oh,
Yes,
never mind, I say the stringer. Ooh.
You see that? You see the bow? Oh, it's all
The bow.
normal. Ignore the bow. But we see rather by the books comp from Appreciation Collective. It's standard, it's perfect, but with a lot of quick respawn, which I think is interesting. Zone control, however, goes to Star Guardians, as it's just a bloodbath in mid, as we see the lead. While it is in Star Guardians' favor, it's not confident yet. We still see them poking, as we see the I like to point out the pro. I feel like that's gotten a lot of play in higher levels, and I like seeing it in low level now, you know? It's very interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very standard, pretty solid weapon, but Kenji going in, gets one in the back there, runs into the Booyah Bomb, manages to live, and, well, you traded one for it, but yeah, but like you said, that pro, it gets a lot of value for it. It has, you know, the missiles and the bomb combo are really good, but Toffel's going to go in here with that sword, going to try to get in. Nope, there's a second jump, nothing there. They've gotten the lead just from Toffel's getting in and putting the pressure out before having to jump back. 69 and climbing down, and Woomy just going to go ahead and burst their way through, catches one. And Appreciation Collective looking fairly dominant. They lose control of the zone for just a minute, but they'll get it back.
Yeah, we still see everything's in a mad scramble as they're even on both sides, 2 and 2. The crab comes out. Still in the favor of Appreciation Collective, but I'd say at this point in the game, it could go either way because the crab comes out from the side of Star Guardians, getting one, but getting 2. Are we able to see a zone flip as everyone's down except for that lone pencil in the back?
Yeah, and the pencil's going to get out of the way, so 30 is the number there for the Appreciation Collective, and full control and pushing up goes that. There's going to be the chumps, which I was wondering when we were going to see those go out and if they were going to have an impact, but looks like they're easily avoided. 16 and 5 in climbing.
Oh yeah, we see Chris just trying to put pressure on the Zipcaster. Are they going to be able to get anything from it? Their teammate does. The crab comes out. There's the Booyah on standby from Appreciation Collective. As it just seems like even though the zone is still in the favor of Star Guardians, it could go either way. 2 members go down from Star Guardians. Looks like this might be a zone flip. But Griff just holds on, barely trying to maintain the zone premise, but it's just a mess in mid as it's a battle of colors here.
The Cruf's doing an incredible job just keeping the ink down. They get back control. The Star Guardians manages to keep this going, and they push it past the Appreciation Collective at 28. Kenji falls the way of Woomy, but one trades back. Zora is there to keep this going, and Star Guardians really owe a lot to that bow.
Yeah, the bow, even though the bow is known to not paint super well, we see the bow managing to just do enough to keep the zone as things are in contention, but no, it doesn't look like things are going to be put in the favor of Appreciation Collective as Star Guardians. The bow, the hidden MVP, somehow painting over all of the enemy colors as we see round 1 going to Star Guardians.
You know, you say the bow doesn't paint a lot, but at least from what I just saw right there, like the short wide shots are just enough to kind of keep you know, they hit everywhere within that zone. So it really feels like the more Crest stayed alive, like they were able just to keep that paint down. A very unusual pick that worked in their favor. Like, say what you will about it, it's not a great weapon, but it did its job in that moment.
Might be the sleeper pick of the set. And
Yeah.
I mean, Rainmaker is gonna, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the bow again. Most bow players tend to be one tricks or just one trick the whole class. And so I wouldn't be surprised, maybe we could see the well string perhaps. I think is something I would like to see on Rainmaker, because well string's a very good pick on Rainmaker, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a switch to that from Star Guardian.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a shorter range, but you still get a decent amount of ink output. The specials and the bombs attached to it are usually fairly good, and it's kind of like a good mobile midliner, it feels like. So I think I agree with you, but I think the question to me is, does Appreciation Collective change anything? I mean, they're kind of playing what looks like a meta comp, but it didn't really work. Do you just kind of force it down mid just because it's your best then?
I would say if this is their comfort zone, it's best to stick in it if you don't have any real options that you're comfortable with, you know? Sometimes you just gotta go with what worked in the past, and, you know, it was close. They got down to a decent amount of points. I think if they just maybe do 1 or 2 corrections with their play, I think they can do it, you know? I think it's just maybe 1 or 2 tweaks, 1 or 2 adjustments, and, you know, they'll be all set to try and win in this second game.
Last round anyways of we're coming into round 6, the last one for the day. So like you said, it's running out of chances, and considering both of these teams are on the bubble of moving to alpha bracket, you had said this kind of earlier, you know, you can't let a 2-1 really kind of get in your way. That might be the difference of you know, just missing the cut, or maybe, you know, getting in based on a 3-0. So, you know, very, very important for both of these teams to try to keep this as close and come out on top as they can. But Star Guardians of Chaos, like you said, maybe some chaotic picks, but it looks good. We'll see what chaos they bring in here for round 2. It's Rainmaker over in the capital. Okay, they bring in the Spotling. There are a little bit of changes on one side, and there will be that bow. No, they're just going to straight up change the bow. Okay.
All right, we see the vanilla bow, and I think that's a good pick. That's like, if there was another pick, I'd say V-bow. You have the whale, that's pretty good at popping things, and I do like the change to that heavy edit, allowing you to be much more mobile. You sacrifice some range, but you get a whole lot of aggression, as we see Cherry up on the grades, able to exert pressure onto Felix, and getting that pick. They're 2 down. Appreciation Collective is in a really good position, especially with that cooler out now.
Yeah, they'll be able to push up and take the space. Zora on the comeback now as Cherry takes a different angle, try to set up the run in, but there's 3 on the side of the Star Guardians there. They're going to deny that. Cherry's going to pick up the Rainmaker, start moving it forward across that high ground just towards the easy close one. It looks like it's going to be a nice easy walk-in slam dunk for Cherry.
Yep, the missiles are out, potentially hindering future process. I say that, and only the pro alive as the members of Appreciation Collective are just keeping all the effort. But 2 go down as Felix is holding forwards, but no, that is denied. As Wumi, I don't know what that sounds like. Maybe fell through the grades since they got to pick on the dually. And the Rainmaker is down. This grades area is very hard to move through unless you get a really solid, like, wipe. But it doesn't look like that's going to be happening, as it looks like Wumi's holding on there as the pressure grows too great and they fall off.
Yeah, this is such a difficult space to go, but Zolo is there, just going to spray that ink and just use that crab to kind of push back the space. The Rainmaker does get picked up by the Guardians, and they'll slowly move forward, looking towards that lower angle, but not a clear path yet. Zolo finds Truffles there. Truffles gets out, so that means the path is a little bit clearer for the Guardians. It's 3, but they're not. They're looking, waiting for a chance to move forward. They've kind of flipped the position of the map, but Toffee there on the high ground gets picked out of the way. That has to be a go. They'll get the point.
That's a huge go. The Zipcaster would have been really good at picking out the Rainmaker there, but we just see we see the crowd go down, actually. This is just the throw again, as the crab is really good at preventing the advance. Really good setup from the Appreciation Collective there.
I mean, the Guardians, I hate to say it, but it feels like they kind of had it and then just threw it away there. But instead, now the Collective are going to run it back, and they see Zora looking on that high ground, just contesting the so important spacing here. These grades are so difficult to control, but pop for the Appreciation Collective, and we'll start to see them take some space.
Yes, we see the crab come out, crab being used. 2 go down from Appreciation Collective, 3 go down. It's a wipeout. This is the time for the Star Guardians of Chaos to go take a point now. We see them running towards that check slam dunk, only 10 points separating, but that's a very small amount on this map. As the numbers go down, you can blink and miss the lead swap here, as we see them both vying for the pop, as the members of the Appreciation Collective are saying, no, we're going to try and pop it instead. As the crab comes out, they do get the pop, But then again, the members of Star Guardians are still there. Or they go 2 down, 3 down. That might be the end of the push for the Star Guardians. This Appreciation Collective takes the Rainmaker, moves it back into mid. That's an admirable push, and you know, the gate's open now. The gate's open for Star Guardians to take the lead. The first check is cleared. That's the big obstacle at this point in the game as we near the 2-minute mark.
Yeah, I wonder if the Guardians are going to regret not taking the lower path there. It might have been maybe further away, but you know, we talked about it. This is such a hard position to fight from those missiles. Missing Cherry. Cherry uses those grates effectively just to dodge it, but they're moving backwards. There's no ability to go. They catch one with the Rainmaker. Cherry, 2 for Cherry with the Rainmaker, looking for a third. No, I mean, they're still dancing and living out there, so finally recognizing they have the time, they're just going to run it up that high ground now. They see the angle. They've pushed the lead to 40. No, they know they can't get any further, but the Rainmaker is stuck in an awkward position now.
Yes, it's really good they went to push their lead further, especially with how easy leads can swap on this map. As you see the Star Guardians of Chaos just trying to get the Rainmaker to reset. Kraith is just putting little bits of pressure as they're just really pushed far up into the base. As we see the Rainmaker getting picked up, actually. That's 3 down on the side of the Star Guardians. Actually, no, even fight. As we see, both the dualies are alive. The crowd is on live for the members of Star Guardians. As Toffee pick up the Rainmaker, trying to get more points. It's 12-61. 1 minute remains. If you're a Star Guardians fan, you better hope that they kick it into gear as fast as possible to try and get the lead back.
Yeah, they've been playing so passively now, but this is the time is literally running out here. They have to go forward here. Krith holding on to the Rainmaker, just waiting for the rest of the team to get it. One pick goes the way of the Star Guardians. They have 2. They have the ability to go on this. They're clearing the grates now, crossing that midline, just trying to push a little bit more. Crowd from Zolo there to try to push through, and they're making some progress. Just they need to clear it. They see the 2 on the high ground from that point. Can't quite get it. 20 seconds now, and just still pushing, vying for position. That's a Booyah Bomb, and Krith manages to slowly walk the way out of it, and it is still down to the wire. They lose the Rainmaker though.
The Rainmaker is now in the hands of Appreciation Collective. It looks like, as we see, there's a skirmish on the plat. Star Guardians gets the pop, I believe. I couldn't quite tell. Yes, they did get the pop, but they lost it immediately.
That's a tough match. That's a tough match too. It goes back to 1-1 in the Appreciation Collective. They will not go down out here in round 6. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there was just so much. I feel like missed opportunities feels like the summary of this game here, Quill.
Oh, absolutely. There were so many times where the Star Guardians could have pushed up, but maybe they were a little nervous. Maybe they just wanted to make sure the way was clear, but that might have just been their downfall. Just a few key misplays can win or lose the game. It all comes down to quick thinking. And especially now, these teams are starting to get worn out. You're round 6, game 3. You're tired, you're hungry, you've been doing this since lunch or breakfast, and so it's all a game of who's more still in it, who still has gas in the tank.
Yeah, it's been a long day here of Low Ink, and we'll finish it off day 1 with Clam Blitz over on Scorch Gorge, and I mean, this just feels like it's kind of just designed for the Star Guardians, right? Like, this is another huge map that favors the bow. This has to be some kind of a cosmic thing in their favor, right?
Oh, yeah, but I wouldn't put it past the Appreciation Collective because we now know they had the heavy edit in their arsenal, and I would say the heavy edit is also a really good choice for this map. It's able to be mobile. It has the Curling Bomb, which I think could be a sneaky little way to get in to score some clams. So I wouldn't put it past them either to maybe do some shenanigans here as well.
Anything's possible. Let's be real. This is Low Ink. Anything is literally possible here, and it's anything to get yourselves out of these lower brackets. So just waiting for the teams to load in, and I gotta say, we have seen a lot of these teams fighting for the bubble. Both of these teams, you know, the loser likely here going down to that B beta bracket. So like you said, it's been a long day, but I also feel like the pressure's so on. So, you know, so many different points of stress for these teams.
Oh, yeah, the pressure is on. This is game 3 of final round. You're both trying to get into the top position. I would be sweating bullets because, oh, that's so much pressure. And you're on stream. It just amplifies it. You don't want to lose on stream. That's a bunch of people. You got 70 plus people watching you, you know? You want to put on your best show for everyone.
Well, they'll get one last chance to kind of make a name for themselves here as, you know, changes getting in, just decisions being made. I don't believe either team has subs. That's not true. Star Guardians do have a couple subs available. It doesn't look like they're going to put any in, though. So let's bring it on home one more time here in Scorch Gorge. There's that heavy edit you were looking for. And I see a brush from Kenji and a ballpoint. What is this?
A total switch up from the Star Guardians of Chaos. They said, this doesn't work anymore. We're just going to change it up completely. We see ballpoint, which we rarely see, but we did see last time in our game 3. But now we see also the machine and the brush. We're seeing a lot of really unique picks, and I think that might be, would it be for the better? Would it be for the worse? We're going to find out as the members are going down on the side of Appreciation Collective.
Looking for a little bit of fight. Kenji just trying to get that ink out. Power claim was made. Kenji just gonna try to the old run it in. Does have the backup from the aerial support. I mean, they threw 2 specials at that, and Kenji just has to get out of dodge. That is a rough push to make.
Yeah, it's such a rough push. They're just not quite able to get in. However, more pressure is being put up. It's a bloodbath. People are trading back and forth. Neither team can just get their feet on the ground as they're constantly wrestling for dominance on the field. But the Power Clan favor has always been, in my opinion, to the side of Star Guardians, as we see the members of Appreciation Collective slowly moving into mid. But Wumi has to worry about that machine that's putting a little bit of pressure on them, forcing them back.
Barry will get that first pick and help buy Wumi a little bit of space and a little bit of breathing room, but if the pressure's not done there, it's gonna be a jet into the back there, looking for something. Create's gonna get way out and send their jet in, try to get anybody. Specials are coming out from both sides, and it's just finally we see the first pick. It's the brush that goes down. 2 now down from the side of the Appreciation Collective, and finally the Star Guardians. This has to be enough to be a push here.
Yes, absolutely. It's just the Stamper hanging back there with the Booyah coming out. This has to be decent damage. But
No!
Oh,
no! That's tragic.
But wait, they're able to vote. They're not able to make a plan. This is disaster. No team is able to get on the board yet. As that, whoa, my goodness. Oh, I'm misfortunate. We see.
Oh, that's painful.
Members of Appreciation Collective probably giving a big sigh of relief. That would have been a lot of damage. It seems like the luck was in their favor as we're reset back into mid with the members of Star Guardians all ramped up trying to get back in.
Oh, I say Appreciation Collective are very appreciative of that. Going to be trading into the ballpoint, into the splatter though. So there's one. Cherry just again looking to continue to try to control these mid lanes. It's going to be a whale out and doesn't really find anybody, but Power Clam is up for the side of the Appreciation Collective. 230 here, not a score to be seen. Kenji's deep, and there's going to be the aerial support coming in. Star Guardians are looking like they're going to make a push here.
Are they going to, though? It just looks like they're just blocking Kenji out as he goes down. This has just been a violent back and forth with people going down on all sides. 3 downs from Star Guardians. This might be the chance for Appreciation Collective to make their move as we see them slowly starting to set up with Wumi with the Booyah. That's going to be a huge way to get in. And if they score here, that's a lot of damage, as they'd say. As we see 19 Power Clans on their side. This is a lot of damage. The first score of the game, 2 minutes remaining.
And I mean, that was enough to get it in. 60, make that 53 now as the rest of the Appreciation Collective members go down. That was a valiant effort. It might be the only basket we see in this match, so we'll have to hope for the best. But 53 to 100, that's a good amount. That keeps you in a winning position.
You need not even 2 Power Clams are going to get you into the lead here. As I'm sitting pretty from Appreciation Collective, as long as you can just keep up the pressure. As we see Star Guardians having 2 Power Clams in some change, as they're just trying to get in, but that heavy edit is exerting so much pressure from above. As we see the Dooley, Kenji's just trying to get in, but no, he runs out of ink, and the Dooley spelling his doom. As we see the members slowly trying to get in.
There's a break.
There's a break. It's just the Stamper alive. No, it's a wipeout.
And the wipeout.
And
that means the second clam.
This is about to be massive as we see Pity is still in their base as they take the lead. This might be curtains as the Pity clam is still in base. We see that being jumped into Create. This may be game here if they just get a few more clams.
7, 4.
We 2 clams to seal the game. 2 clams to seal the phase. We see Cherry trying to get in.
No.
Just barely missing. It's all up to the brush, but is the brush going to go for it? No, they retreat. They're like, we're going to fight another day. That's a great lead here. 4 points. This has the Appreciation Collective basically has to KO here. The pressure is on with under 1 minute remaining.
Yeah, that was so much damage done, considering they were able to get that all-important wipeout. The patient play really kind of eventually got them everything they wanted and got them a great lead for it. But now with the Guardians, I mean, they are just, they have, like you said, they can play back. They can just play for defensive here and just know that they have to build up specials and use them for that way. But the early pick onto Appreciation Collective gets traded immediately out. Kenji, just unfortunately forced back to spawn. It'll be a cooler though, and a Booyah Bomb to go in. I don't think there's nothing ready though. There's nothing to go in. Wumi's gonna send it in, and eventually we'll lose the duel to Zor. And I mean, that might have been a little ambitious.
Yeah, just seemed like they did a mad scramble, and you never know what can happen. There's 2 down on the side of Star Guardian, so anything could happen. Tav is trying to make it work, but there's a mad scramble. Oh, half of overtime's already over. The air support coming in, getting all these picks. It looks like this might be fate sealed for Appreciation Collective as Star Guardians with a really confident and damaging push take game 3 and win the set.
I gotta say, that wipeout push from Star Guardians, I feel like that was the most aggressive and most coordinated we'd seen them in this entire set. That felt like everything went exactly as they're planned. You could see the specials go in. It hit exactly who they wanted to do. The follow-up was right there. That was the most coordinated I think we've seen them this whole set.
Oh, absolutely. It was a masterclass in teamwork, coordination, and just keeping your head in the game. So what if we haven't scored and it's halfway through the game? We can just come in later on with this big 1-2, push it to 4, and what are they going to do about it?
I mean, the answer is go down to that B bracket because the Star Guardians of Chaos have sealed their way into the Alpha bracket with that, I believe. We're waiting for the last of those updates, but that definitely does give them the slight advantage going into this. So, I mean, a long, long day paying off for so many of these teams.
That was such an intense set. I mean, yes, it was a 2-1, but honestly, it was open game for any of these 2 teams. Both should be proud of their performance, regardless of the bracket they made. They put on a great show. Lots of really good moments. I think this was one of the favorite games.
Definitely. This was one of the better games of the night. It looks like both teams will end up in the, are looking like they're towards the beta bracket, but Appreciation Collective could make that knockout into Gamma. So we won't know the full final results and seeding until we get to tomorrow. And, well, good news, bad news. Tomorrow isn't far away, but it's the end of day 1 here for Low Ink.
Yep, so it's been a great day, great first part of this tournament, and I'm looking forward to day 2, and I hope you guys are too.
Yeah, remember, keep following. I know most of you are, but if you don't, make sure you hit all those buttons to make sure you're following here at IPL. And Quill, any final thoughts before we say goodbye to the people?
No, not really. Just I hope everyone has a good rest of their weekend.
Yeah, from us here at IPL and Sam Paris running those beautiful production. Thank you all, and we'll see you in day 2 of Low Ink in July.